house, fucking yo, man. What the fuck is good, baby? How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? How y'all living, man? Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back to the fucking stream, man. It is so good to see so many beautiful faces. For the guys saying Up Only's back, I got bad news. That thing's been on the schedule every single day for the last fucking 3 years. I got bad news. There's no Up Only episode today. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how else to tell you that. Welcome back to the fucking stream. Sure looks expensive because it is. Okay, because it is, because it's a good day, because we have the AmitIsInvesting stream today. It's low-key my goat, I'm going to be honest. Just to give you all a comp of how big this chat is going to get, all he talks about, focuses on, covers is like retail trading. Retail traders, retail traders, retail traders. Targeted more towards stocks like we are targeted towards crypto. Thanks, Mac D-Gods, for the 10 gifted. He goes live to 10K every single morning, okay? 10,000 people concurrent every single morning. So enjoy enjoy our little baby chat while you can. Okay, enjoy fucking still seeing small Pepe in the chat while you still can. Okay, because it's not going to be this way forever. I'm just letting you know. But he's kind of my goat. And so he's coming on. I'm excited. He's a sharp guy. He's sort of like what we are for stocks, right? He talks a lot about a lot of things we talk about. Retail thesis, mega church. Maybe he just doesn't know it, but it's going to be a really good one. So he's coming on. And by the way, however many people he brings into the stream, I'm dropping the pit link. Everyone's getting it. Maybe 10,000, maybe 3,000, maybe 1,000. I don't know. But however many people he brings in are all getting the pit link. Every single one of them. Yep. Every single one of them is getting a pit link. Yep. Every single fucking one. So that's number one. Number two is we have a plethora, a myriad, a hydra, a triceratops of topics to cover today. Okay, first and foremost, SPX broke 7K today. I don't know what it's at right now, right, as we go into close. Wow. 7,024. Okay. Abe, what's good, man? 7,024 SPX. Fucking unreal. It's been such a bizarre move because it almost, oh my God, Pims, by the way. Hey, where's Eli's? I took a long on this thing and it's fucking just, wow. He banked me, I'm not going to lie. So yeah, it's been one of the craziest moves I've ever seen, really. Wait, you longed? Brother, I'm a mega church trader, dog. Fuck you mean, boy, you longed. I trade attention. This is what I do. I long and short attention. I'm an attention trader. This is what I do, brother. Look at this thing just candling, dog. Holy fuck. Look at this thing go, man. Insane. Look at this thing go. Insane. So we have a lot to talk about today, okay? Stock market ATH. Honestly, one of the craziest moves I've ever seen. The dump didn't feel that pronounced. The tweet didn't feel that pronounced. Or the pump didn't feel that pronounced. Everything about it is just like really bizarre. It's one of the more aggressive moves stocks have had in a while. Genuinely bizarre. I don't know what else to say about it. Very bizarre move. But it's back at ATH. That means we have a bunch of stocks to cover. At the same time, crypto looks, I can't lie, it looks really good. I'm kind of sad, sick to my soul that the Uncle Sam is making me sell $1 million cash for $75,070 at the current price. And I have like a couple hours left to do it. I have to do it today, which is insane. So crypto looks great. There's a lot going on. Every kick streamer is in jail right now. That's happened. Allbirds is an AI company now. That's up like 700%. Hims got this crazy announcement. That's up an insane amount. Snapchat, we were right. Laid off, I don't know, 25% of people. That's fucking ripping. Live Nation just got labeled a monopoly. That's getting destroyed. There's crazy activity there. CoffeeZilla just dropped a video. What shifts taxes tweet? I just don't think this is correct. Today's April 15th, tax day. My father, Erwin Schiff, referred to it as the real April Fool's Day. On this day, tens of millions of Americans volunteer to pay a tax that no law actually requires them to pay. For years, my father asked the IRS to show him the law, but they never did. I'm pretty sure that there is a law that requires me to pay taxes. Maybe we can try. Actually, I don't even want to make a joke about it. They'll fucking beat down my fucking door. I realized just a long time ago that I have to just be by the book because they're going to fucking come after me one day if I don't. So I'm going to be by the book. I am paying. And there's no law. What do you mean there's no law? What are you talking about? How is there no law? So we have a CoffeeZilla video about Stretch, brother, which is insane. There is a coffee video about Stretch, which we're obviously going to cover. We also have this TMZ pivot into politics has now evolved into Martin Shkreli, like blackmailing politicians on Twitter. We have AI. We have quick war updates. We have like a million. I mean, that's a lot of topics. There is a million topics to cover. And to end it, to conclude it, we have AmitIsInvesting coming on the stream. Okay, a myriad of topics. Wait, let's go like this. A myriad, a multitude, quantities. We have mass topics. We have crowd. We have a throng of topics. We have droves of topics. We have hordes. We have a legion of topics. We have countless. We have infinite. We have numberless. We have unlimited, untold, limitless, unnumbered, immeasurable, multi-dinoous, numerous, manifold, multiple topics is what we have today. So yeah, there's a lot going on. This guy does fucking vernacular. I'm excited. I'm happy to be here with you. There's trades out the fucking everywhere. There's something else really important I wanted to say. Yeah, I don't know. Bitcoin 75K. I don't know. I got to pay my tax. Look, roll call, baby. Who's here? D-Nap, what's good? Gouda, what's here? Caleb, Alex, Mac D, God, Small Pepe, Kevin, Braves, what's good? Live the Life TV, Alex and Jemai, Viblet, what's good? Any first-time chatters? I want to shout you out. Braves, DJ, what's good? Rectal, what's good? Rex, Spicy Meatball, Charlie, Jowls, what's good? Polka, Rockefeller, Sparky, Yonan. What's good? Kenyon, what's good? Shelby, Fodder, what's good? 777, Proof of Work 69, Dev Scuff, Chunky Nuts. What's good? Any first chatters? Any first chatters? Any first chatters? Any first chatters? Hidden, what's good? Hunter, what's good? Joey, what's good? Sauce, what's good? On Chain, what's good? ES Snipes, what's good? Aberon, what's good? Fodder, what's good? Defluge, what's good? Holy fuck, man. Jackson Ray, what's good? 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 What the fuck is good? All right. Whew. We have a lot to talk about. Let's get into it. Yeah, it is tax day today. It's pretty brutal. I found a method though for tax day to make it hurt a little bit less. Is I realize that if you complain about taxes, everybody else also wants to complain about taxes. And so I put a IG story. You want to see my IG story? It's pretty aura actually. I'll show you my IG story. Y'all want to see my IG story? I'll show it to you. It's like a picture of Trump. And it says, like, I have to pay my taxes today. I really don't want to pay my taxes, but they are bad. Sort of like insinuating it's like a high number. And I got a unreal amount of beautiful women swipe up. I'm just going to call a spade a spade. I'm just going to tell you what it was. Okay? I have a large amount, like four. There was 4 beautiful women that swiped up on the story, and I answered the same response to every single one, and it was some iteration of first date idea, we do our taxes together. And I started the first 2 by saying first date today, we do our taxes together and fall in love. Neither of them replied to my reply. So then the next 2, I just did first date today, we do our taxes together and be miserable. And there was a couple replies to that, but both replies to that were like, you're so funny. Ha 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 ha. And so it was very much like, and then the 5th girl replied, oh my goodness, Valentine. Which was crazy. That was unreal. Oh my goodness, Valentine's. And so that one was insane. But I figure it's like, I think it is a method. I think it's a method. Because it's like you're a big masculine, smart guy, and she's like a very sweet, woman, and I think any future ones I'm gonna hit him with the like, you're too pretty to have to pay taxes, like let me do them kind of thing. Maybe we'll get there at some point, but it is tax day, and they're due in like, I don't know, what time is it? I mean, they're due like really soon. They're due in fucking 8 hours. They're due in 8 hours. I'm gonna be on stream for like 4, and so I gotta pay them like right when I get off. And the problem about taxes is, yeah, you can't. Basic since he made a tweet about it, and he's like, it's like gay if you complain about it. So I'm not gonna complain about it. I'm gonna talk about the topics we actually have to talk about today. But what I will say is that I have to sell some Bitcoin to pay him, okay? Because I mean, it's 54%. It's nuts. And I made a lot of money last year, and I spent money. Like what do you want me to say? I bought some stuff, okay? I bought some stuff, okay? Earrings, they weren't cheap. Shirt wasn't cheap. The stream room, a lot of stuff that was not cheap, okay? I spent. Best purchase, I'd probably get banned on Twitch if I said it out loud. But all I'm saying is that they are making me sell $1 million worth of an asset for $74,882 at the current price. And yeah, it hurts, but I think you should pay your taxes. I really think that you should. I think you should pay your taxes. I recommend it. I'm paying them. IRS, I know you guys are watching because I know you are. So that is what that is. Number one. Number two, I went to a sick event yesterday. I met Mike Novogratz, which was lit. By the way, what a fucking Chad guy. I went to this party of sorts. I don't really know how I should like describe this, so I'll just go vague on this one. But I went to this really cool event, and I met Mike Novogratz, and I'm not gonna say that he knew who I was. To be fair, I didn't tell him my name was threadguy, but I gave him me and Malcolm gave him the pitch on what Counterparty is, and he's gonna come on the stream, which is sick. He's gonna come on the stream. And I also told him, I said, look, if you're a fan, I have this really niche group. It's a Telegram group. I type in there a lot. I get a little schizo, and I call it the Pit. And if you'd like to join, here's an invite link. And I didn't get his number, his Instagram, any of his information, but I did get him a Pit link. So Novo's in the Pit, probably a lot of billionaires, a lot of founders in the Pit, a lot of everything in between. So that happened. Quick intro story. And then, okay, something else crazy happened yesterday. As I was watching, bro, get me in the group. I mean, bro, if you're not in at this point, it's like, you can lead a horse to water. We also, I did get invited to a white party. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that out loud, but I was like, man, 2026, dude. Like, ripping that in a big 2-6 is insane. I'm like, not by him. By some complete random I met outside. Like, maybe it was for the party, maybe it was not. Not by him. Yeah, not by him. But yeah, that also happened. So I said, dude, in 2026? He said, yeah, you're right. It's white optional. I said, okay. Thank you. Also, something else happened. I'm watching the NBA yesterday, and I could not believe what I saw. Okay, it was an incredible game. Charlotte Hornets played Miami Heat. LaMelo tried to sell the fucking game, but the game was lit. But I'm not here to talk about the game. Okay, what I'm here to talk about is at the end of the game, LaMelo does the post-game conference, and they put a fucking Amazon Prime chain on his neck, and this chain is digital video. It's a glass screen, and it's playing highlights from the game on his neck in the post-game conference. He's swiping them, and he's watching the videos. And I'm sitting here, and I'm looking, and I zoom in, and I'm like, I don't see an NBA Top Shot logo. And all I can think about is that NBA Top Shot probably had one of, if not the biggest fumbles in history of sports, in the history of crypto. I don't know what else to say. Now, it is, to be fair, they made a fuck ton of money, and they did great, and they did awesome. But I actually could not believe what I was watching. I'm sitting here staring at this thing, and I'm like, guys, what? This is Top Shot. This is like actually Top Shot. And yeah, I made good money on it. NBA Top Shot started my career. I'll tell you what, I made fucking mid 5 figures when I was 18 years old on NBA Top Shot. And without it, it completely changed my life. Love them to death. But Top Shot was the first NFT that like really took off and fucking changed the game. Which yeah, the Top Shot was nuts. Like one of the craziest things I've ever seen, really, for being completely honest. Top Shot was absolutely insane. So shout out to them. Okay, a couple quick rapid fire before we get into market close. I don't know why this is on my intro, but boomers look you dead in the eye and say life's tough. Meanwhile, they literally fucking fumbled everything. This is the same reason that you can't listen to your dad or your parents about investing advice, about being grown, about where to put your money, about how to live, about cultural, because the world we dreamed of doesn't exist anymore. I'm just gonna say it. The world we dreamed of doesn't exist anymore. So also my Twitter. This is insane, by the way. Is anyone here old enough? Let me ask you a serious question. Is anyone in this chat old enough to have smoked a cigarette on an airplane? Anyone? Booty watcher or no? Is anyone here old enough to have done this? My mom might be watching. Not okay. That sounded wrong. I love you, Mom. I didn't mean like old. I just meant like experienced. I didn't mean old. Okay, I really didn't. Yeah, I meant the good old days. I'm 100 years old. I didn't mean it like that at all. I love you, Mom. Crazy though. We'll watch the Bill Ackman in a second. Okay, one more quick rant. I want to say one more quick rant. We'll watch Bill Ackman and we'll do market closed. Okay, I had a discussion with Rasmer. What do you think of the Twitter algorithm right now? Genuinely, good, bad, somewhere in between. What do you think? I had a discussion with Rasmer today because I was complaining about not the Twitter algo, which I actually think is really good, but I think that Twitter and social media as a whole has gotten really hollow. Okay, and what I mean by that is that I just feel like there's nothing new happening. There's no new people. There's no new posts. There's no new styles. There's no new aesthetics. There's no new thesis. There's nothing new on Twitter. There's nothing new to come through. Everything is just like your Twitter feed today, I would imagine, is some repurposed iteration of Allbirds. Like every third tweet is about Allbirds. And what I think it is that it's actually not the algo being bad, but it's some iteration of viral optimization forces everybody to tweet like viral. And so I was looking at my own tweets. Rasmus like called me out. It was like, bro, your tweets suck. I'm like, what do you mean? My tweets are viral. And he's like, no, bro, every fucking tweet of yours is like a one-liner. And so I started reading my tweets and I'm like, Claude Mythosphere is a good excuse to never use DeFi again. One-liner. Bitcoin at 74K doesn't feel as good knowing SPX just broke 7K. One-liner. Nike should announce a data center. One-liner. Every single tweet, bro, it's a one-liner for me. Every tweet. Clip. Timeline is so quiet for SPX about to hit new all-time highs. Insane. The final marginal buyer. Just remember that Bitcoin Peppers did some math on how much they can be worth again. One-liner. I don't care what happens from here. It's beautiful. I'm whole. One-liner. Bitcoin. Sailor's painting a pretty Bitcoin chart. I can't lie. One-liner. Almost forgot what these posts felt like. One-liner. And so I'm just like going through it and I'm like, damn, every single tweet that I tweet is like a complete one-liner. And all of my actual thoughts go into the Telegram now. Like if I have an actual analysis, you and Raspberry cover my normie accounts feed. That's sick. If I have actual analysis on anything, it goes here on stream. And then it goes to the pit. But I don't post vulnerable shit on Twitter anymore because you kind of get punished for it. And so I was just thinking about it. Like, I really do think the future of where this content is going is like really niche, really targeted. People who are hyper obsessed with finance, but maybe like trading liquid markets, that will be like a little niche. People that are more like passive investing, that will be a niche. People doing AI, that will be a niche. And so this is why I push the pit so hard on stream, is that I feel like if you actually are interested in what we're doing, I want to just go right to the source because I can't say a lot of this shit on Twitter on my TL. It just like doesn't work. I did see Rhino's tweet, by the way, shorting Zcash. I'm actually long Zcash, but not very much. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I don't know. That's why I pushed it so hard. So that is what that is. Anyways, let's watch a Bill Ackman tweet or video to get us started, and then let's get in the market close. Let's get it. TG vs Rhino Cinema. That's not a position I want to be in. Pause.
Until I started getting interested in this thing called COVID in January of 2020. And
it's a crazy intro. I started getting interested in this thing called COVID.
First, my interest was health interest. You know, I had a father at the time. You know, my dad had lung cancer. You know, was overweight. He had a lot of, as they called them, comorbidities. And where COVID, I thought, was a real threat to him. So I wanted to protect him. But the kind of deeper I got, the more I realized this was going to have a pretty significant economic effect. In fact, we would have to shut the global economy in order to stop the spread of this pandemic. And the markets were priced, both the equity markets and the credit markets, as if everything was fine. It's a bit like there was this massive storm coming. We could see the storm, but everyone else is just playing on the beach. And so what we did is we bought same kind of instrument.
He was crying on TV while making billions. It's called activist investing.
A credit default swap. We bought it on the index of all these various credits. And over a 10-day period, we bought about $74 billion notional value of this insurance. It cost us only $27 million. 10 days later, it became worth $2.6 billion. We took that money in March of 2020 with the market down 30%. We bought stocks. And then 9 months later, we had another concern. And that concern was you had Trump spending trillions of dollars to keep the country from, you know, falling into a depression during COVID. You had Powell keeping interest rates at zero. You had a vaccine where people are going to start wanting to spend money again. You had sort of animal spirits. In our view, this would create a demand shock at a time when supply chains were disrupted, and we thought this would lead inevitably to a large amount of inflation. And to protect our portfolio, we bought what's called an interest rate swap option. It's a bit like an option on interest rates. So the 2-year treasury, 2-year rates were at 12 basis points, 0.12%. And we bought an out of the money, in effect, almost like a call option, struck at 94 basis points. So imagine you bought had a call option on a stock and it was 7 times the stock price. It was way out of the money, but it was still, in our view, a very low interest rate, 0.94%. And those instruments ultimately turned into $2.6 billion of profit. And we took the profit. And
$2.6 billion is insane.
And we bought stocks. So if you think about our strategy, it's about owning some of the best businesses in the world, where we buy them opportunistically at good prices. Sometimes we buy them when people have lost confidence in management, and we help. That's kind of the day job. That's the driver of long-term profitability of the funds. But I would say opportunistically, every once in a while, there's a storm coming. And what we try to do is get ahead of that by using sort of, as we describe, an asymmetric instrument. They tend to be a very small percentage of the capital. So we're risking, if we're wrong about the storm coming, it's a bit like.
Crazy. Also, this is a Vlad. Oh, that's crazy. Vlad and Bill Ackman did an interview. Bill Ackman's like a legendary hedge fund guy who I am actively trying to get on stream. Also, one more thing before we do market close is if anyone here is a fan of Gort, I'm going on the Gort show on Friday. Friday morning, I'm doing the Gort show. I'm still going to stream, but I am doing the Gort show on Friday morning, which is exciting. Yeah, I was kind of hype I got invited. Like, I never really get invited to podcasts. I don't know if it's me or if it's them or what it is, but I don't. And Gort invited me, and I'm kind of hype. So that is happening. No, I won't start late. That is happening, though. So shout out to Gort. And all right, let's do market close. It's a very interesting market right now. It is a weird market. I'm going to just be so for real. Today was the first day I think that felt like yesterday felt bullish, but today was like, fuck, man, they're really sending us. Like they're really fucking ripping us right now is what today felt like. Positioning, who's in what? What do you long? What do you short? What do you like? What do you don't like? Where are we? Pengu, jeez. Okay. Sideline, okay. God, all you guys are just in crypto tokens. What else? Long, risk, short oil, cash. Long BTC Tesla, long stocks. Long ETH, wheat, interesting. Long NAS, per, interesting. Coinbase, relong Zcash. Bought a fourth house, stop it, bro. Penguin Gang or Die, Zcash. I'm long SPY. I'm long the black bean market. Are you serious? I'm long NAS. Long oil. Wait, what is the black bean market? What are you even talking about? Are you trolling or no? Is that a joke? The global black bean market was valued at approximately 670 million in 2023 and is projected to reach 931 million by 2030. That's insane. All right, let's go over it. Basically, the only new position I have is I clicked. No, coffee would be coffee beans. That's what that would be, not black beans, right? Coffee would be coffee beans, if I'm not mistaken. Also, the guy who made fun of me for saying we're ripping, I'm not talking about Bitcoin, brother, ever. Okay, it's almost never. I don't know if I completely made that shit up. I'm dead as hell. It's almost never Bitcoin when we're talking about shit's ripping. Okay. Anyways, let's get into it. Market close. SPY closes at $699 new ATH. Can you fucking believe it? Seriously, can you believe it? It's unreal. I hold no stocks except for a HIMS long that I took 30 minutes ago. Okay, we got it down as much as 10%. We're now up basically 12% since that. And from the Pico bottom to new ATH, it took 16 days. 16 days from bottom to new ATH on SPY. SPX is over 7,000, new ATH. During the entire war, there was never a single down day of 2% or more. And I think we've had 11 green days in a row in this market. The first time the United States has been in an actual war since, I don't even know, 20 years, give or take, 15 years. A war that still isn't over, that initially pumped on a ceasefire that wasn't true, and then negotiations have failed, and we're now working through a second round of negotiations that seem like no way they're going to see themselves through unless China forces it. And we are at a new ATH. And so it's very much been the case for a while. The two things that we'd said over and over and over and over and over again are stocks want to go up and Trump wants to get out of Iran. One of those two has come true very clearly, which is stocks want to go up. The second thing we're waiting for is Trump wants to get out, which he's pretty adamant about, I think, right now. We actually didn't even cover war yesterday because we didn't have much. But this is why, and we will continue to just say, you can't really fight this market. It's like if Trump wants it to go up, it's going up, and there's not a damn thing you can do about it. So SPX, SPY, new all-time highs. And it is unreal to see, really. Q's up 1.4. That's at a new ATH. Tech, big tech. IGV, horrible, up 4.5% though. But look at this. This thing is a long way to go. Nobody wants to buy software, right? No one's interested in SaaS. The Dow red, and the Russell is basically at ATH, but it's not up that much. I mean, this is one of the bull traps of all time. I don't know how this relates to like other points on the chart. But even fucking Liberation Day took longer to get ATH. I mean, this took how long to get to a new all-time high? From Pico bottom, took like, it took 3 months. It took 3 months of a, like, to be fair, it was a bigger drawdown of 20%. It was double the drawdown, but it took 3 months versus 11 days to get back to ATH. That's fucking nuts. What about during COVID? Let's see. God, why do I have this bunk ass SPY chart? Pith. Let's see. You should actually flame me for that. Pith? It's my Oracle. I have a Pith chart? Seriously? During COVID, Pico bottom. From Pico Schmico bottom to new ATH, it took like 157 days. after a, this is a much bigger drop, after 35% drop. Way longer. This went 11 days, bro, after a minus 10%. It's crazy. Now, I did see a tweet that was like, okay, we weathered one minus 10%, but how about the next one? If we got back here, it would get like if it did something like this, and we got back here, it would be scary. It would be really scary if we got back here. But for now, I don't know. Crazy breakout. So that's where we're at there. Crypto just put in a really weird candle. Hyperliquid's 44, looks incredible, and I'm excited to talk about to AMIT about Hyperliquid. Actually, he's a huge Robinhood bull. So it'd be fun to talk about Hyperliquid a little bit. Silver looks pretty good. It's $80. Solana remains just the worst looking crypto chart. Is anyone here long Solana? What cryptos are you long? Majors. Long or short? Anything. What are you long? Are there any mega Solana bulls in here? I haven't seen one in a while. Hype. Yeah, it's just like should be hype, you know? I haven't seen one in a while. Only spot hype. Solana is not something we've talked about much recently. Monad looks insane. We'll get to alts in a minute. We'll hype flip Sol. I mean, it feels like it. Galaxy. Interesting. We'll look at Galaxy. We should add that to the list, actually. Zcash 347. I don't have much on this, if at all, right now. Monero 346. It's like not trading very well. I don't know. It's not trading very well. ETH 2300 looks good. Gold about 48. Bitcoin just put in a really weird candle. I don't know what this weird candle here at BTC. Looked like it was fucking wanted more, but it also is tax day. But Bitcoin's like 74. Right when I started the stream, it was like 75.3. And I was playing Uzi, and now I'm not playing Uzi anymore. Stretch was 100 to start the day, I think. Let's see. No, it wasn't. Okay. Stretch is under 100, so nothing to show there. And then I added Bitcoin dominance back to the list because why not? It's at 60. All right. Individual names that we care about. Tesla up 8% today. Still doesn't look great, but that's a nice fucking candle right there. Is anyone here long Tesla? Microsoft up 5. Oracle up 4. It's trading pretty well. Apple up 3. Intel up 2. Insane chart. Intel chart is insane. We'll get to HUD in a minute. Meta up 1.3. Netflix is just every day, bro. This is a fucking... I don't think anyone in this chat owns it, but we used to talk about it every day. Spicy Meatball. I'm long Tesla. This was the Spicy Meatball coin. I don't think he longed it, though. But it's up fucking... How much? 43% for the bottom. It's pretty nice. Nvidia was above 200 today, which is crazy. I mean, this chart looks pretty nuts. I can't lie. It's crazy how quickly it goes from really bad to really good. This chart looks pretty beautiful on a breakout here. That's a good-looking chart, bro. Really, it is. It's a good-looking chart on Nvidia. Volume's kind of weak, but it's a good-looking chart. AMD looks insane. Google looks insane. Amazon still looks pretty good. And then other miscellaneous. We'll do HIMS in a second. Figma finally up 10%. Hood up 10%. This is the AMIT stock. It looks really good. Oh, I skipped Palantir. Where's Palantir? Palantir looks pretty decent. Let's go back. DoorDash up 10%. Snap is up 8% on news that they laid off 20% of the company, which we are going to cover in a minute. Hood looks really good on news that day trading is like now legal if you have under $25,000 in your account. Which, by the way, I forgot this was a thing. We'll cover this. I kind of covered it yesterday and I skipped over it, but I used to trade options. I forgot this was a thing. So Hood there on some crazy volume. Snap 8% looks nuts. What else do we care about? SoFi up 5. That benefits from that same news as well. Coinbase up 6. Looks relatively decent. IGV we already covered. MicroStrategy is up 5. Nike up a couple percent. And then the big one from today is ticker Bird. Up 500%. 182% today. Unreal. It got halted and it just kept, let's go like weekly on this thing. Look at this chart. I mean, look at this chart. Ready? This is a weekly chart. Ready? I mean, what? Look at this. This thing used to trade at $600. Also, let me add GME to this our list here. GME did buy some trading card thing. I saw that. This is a chart actually. Like, just chart here looks pretty. Let me add it to this real quick. Let's see. Oh, fuck my life. That's not what I tried to do. GME. Let me see. GameStop card. They bought this company. I want to see. We'll come back. We'll come to it in a minute, but let me see real quick. Also, let me type in here real quick. All right, we'll come back. This chart looks pretty sick, and then there's not really that much else that I'm interested except for this hymns, which is gonna be one of the first topics we talk about today. This announcement came out that they're basically gonna be lenient about peptides going through, which is, I don't know, feels like a mega trend of the year. Peptideification of fucking everything, and hymns looks nuts. So before I move on, anything you want me to look at, anything you're long, anything that's important, any stocks you like, any tickers, coins. Thank you. Farcoin up 8. Looks pretty good. There's a few coins that look decent right now. Have you seen Sandisk? Yeah, I think I went over it. I'll look in a minute. Farcoin looks couple things. Pengu looks decent. Jupiter a couple percent. Monad is still one of the best looking coins. Let me add Galaxy to alts, even though it isn't technically an alt. GLXY. Galaxy Digital. Shout out to Mike Novogratz. Actually looks pretty decent as well. And let me also add Grass to this list. Oh my God. This is terrible. This is terrible. And then we'll do a quick deck screen or scroll. Let's see. We're looking at what's hot right now. Neat 40. What happened to Genius? The thing I said not to buy. Not bad on this. Not great though. And then what was the other one? Rave. Looks terrible. Smiley Capital, thanks for the gifted. Do you still like the WorldCoin thesis? I mean, no, I don't. I mean, the thesis, yeah. Was it WLD? I would love to like this, but it's just, I mean, it's fried. Like, I don't know what to say about this. It's completely fried. I mean, it's important, right? Like proof of human is incredible. It's important, but it's just hard to buy it. Also, last thing, invite Serenity on the stream. I don't know. I kind of like annoyed with this account. SERENITY. I know they've been on like a god run. I wasn't like a huge fan of the low cap posting. Like, it's a weird, you know what's funny before we get into topics is that all these TradFly KOLs are now pulling the crypto KOL move. Smiley Capital, thanks for the 20 gifted. Thanks for the 25 gifted, Smiley. It's not oil. What are you up on? It's not oil. All these TradFly KOLs are pulling the crypto KOL move, which is like aggressively post about low cap and then act confused why low cap is going up. Don't post size. Don't post positioning. Just post really low caps, a couple $100 million, like they're basically memes. And then be confused as to why they're going up. Like it's crypto's related to everything, man. Crypto's related to fucking everything. It's happening in TradFi right now, and it's kind of like, I don't know, I just got like turned off by it. I sort of stopped following a lot of these accounts. I felt like we're doing kind of weird shit. So yeah, I don't know. That is what that is. So I don't know. I wasn't like a huge fan of the Serenity account, but I wouldn't mind getting them on the stream. So okay, Robinhood today was one of the things that's fucking ripping. I want to come back to this, which is that Hood, kind of true, but they're not memes. No, they're not memes. They're real businesses. But like, you know, if you have a lot of motion and you come out and you bull post a $100 million market cap stock, like, I don't know. It's just like what it's a weird thing to do. Like it's not it's a weird thing to do. Some super niche shipping company. Like it's a little bit of a weird thing to do. You got to be careful if you have too much influence. But I don't know. I don't post a ton of alpha or whatever on Twitter, at least on my TL. So I can't really speak on it that much. But this is okay. Amit's favorite stock will start here. Robinhood's been fucking ripping since this announcement. I think in the last 2 days, if we go to Hood, it's crazy amount last 2 days. I mean, this is up basically from the bottom since this announcement came out. Hood is up like 29%, many billions, on the announcement that SEC has officially approved ending the pattern day trader rule, eliminating the 25K minimum equity requirement for day trading. That likely helped fuel the move since it lowers the barrier for more retail traders to actively use Robinhood. First and foremost, this was a free mega church trade that we missed. I low-key take this one in the chin. I kind of take this one in the chin because I just wasn't really paying attention to this or how big of a deal it was. I also forgot this was a thing, to be quite honest with you. Like, I haven't traded options in a long time, like since I was fucking, I don't know, in high school. But the way it worked, yeah, investors with margin accounts were designated as pattern day traders if they executed 4 or more day trades within 5 business days, provided the number of day trades was more than 6% of their total trading activity. And so if you were trading options, you had to have over 25K in your account, which a lot of people trading options don't. That's kind of like the whole point, right, of trading options, partly. And you could only make 3 trades in 5 days. I believe that's the actual rule. 3 trades in 5 days, which is nuts if you really think about it, right? This is again another reason why crypto is superior. There's no rules to any, like, imagine if you could only long perps 3 times in a 5-day period is insane. I don't even like know how cash account versus margin account hyper liquid Jesus options. I don't even like really know how it works. Cash accounts require using fully settled funds. Margin accounts allow borrowing funds for increased buying power and short selling but carry higher risk. Margin is required for advanced option strategies, while cash is best for beginners. Is this crazy that I don't even really know how this works? Bro, like imagine. Yeah, you have to wait for settlement. That's what it is. That's why. It's like a business day, right? How long is settlement on cash account options? That's what it is. T+1 settlement cycle. That's insane. Think about that, bro. That is fucking nuts. Means transaction settle on 1 business day. It used to be T+2. The next business day, bro. Think about that. The next business day, it would settle. And so if you wanted to trade, if you had less than, the only reason, like, okay, you have the reason you're subject to this rule is that you have less than $25,000 in your account, which means you don't have that much money to trade. And so you're trading like scalping options or whatever with cash, and you can only trade once you settle 1 business day after the transaction, which is a complete clashes against the idea that you don't have that much money, so you need instant settlement. And so if you don't have instant settlement, then you're trading on a margin account. And if you're trading on a margin account, you can only execute 4 trades in 5 days. That's so, like, predatory, bro. It's nuts. Now, it's maybe predatory the other direction as well, which is opening it back up to everybody. Anyone can do whatever, but it's kind of crazy that exists. I never really considered it. And so It further reemphasizes our thesis that everybody's going to trade, number one. And second, it gives a lot more people access to participate in these momentum moves, right? A lot more people have access to participate in these momentum moves if you're not cucked by liquidity requirements. If you really think about it, it actually plays into mega church. It plays into attention trade. It plays into a lot of the stuff that we talk about all day, every day. But this was probably a free trade. So like, what's on here? Hood, Weeble, IBKR. Let's see. So Hood pumped a ton. I used to have options at Weeble in high school. This pumped a lot. Look at this. It's the same chart. This pumped a fuck ton. 33% on Weeble, and then IBKR. Interactive Brokers is a wow. Look at this chart. Look at this chart, bro. I wonder how much liquidity is unlocked by this. I can't imagine it's like an insane amount, but it feels relatively substantial. But it just, I don't know. My take is forever that the entire world is going to trade. Entire world is going to trade, and most of them are going to be trading attention and memetics than they are going to be trading earnings reports and filings and things of this nature. It just let's do a quick Twitter search on this before I move on. There's basically been 3 mega church trades in the last day. I'm in one of them. This was a fun one though. Yeah, there's like crazy. 25, it's a lot. It's tough to I mean, it's a lot of money, bro, to hit in a Robinhood account. It is. It's not a joke. Especially if you like trading is not your full-time gig. B1, it's okay, man. We're gonna run up that let me see if YouTube has anything good real quick. We're gonna run up that account, brother. None. I just wondered if it had a video. No, nothing important. Okay, cool. Then that brings me to this next topic, which is that some combination of stock market all-time high and it's all crypto. This is really playing out. I mean, that plays into what I want to talk about next. Which is that, again, I can't believe that we're at all-time highs. It's sort of unbelievable that we've gotten there. But so this guy Warren Paz tweets, the last 10 days have been unlike any 10-day period in the market since 1950, which is like what, that's 75 years. Trying to get Warren Paz on the stream would be fire. Who is this? Founder of 3F Research. PM for RAA. What is RAA? RAA. What is this? Let's see. I'll follow him. Come back to it. But he's a hedge fund manager. Okay. The last 10 days have been unlike any other 10-day period in the market since 1950. First, the S&P 500 is up 9.8% in 10 days, which is the 99.7th percentile of all 10-day returns. Think about that. 75 years. Now, the thing about this that's so ridiculous to me is that nothing even happened. Nothing even happened. Genuinely nothing even happened. There wasn't this crazy ceasefire. There wasn't this conclusion on war. There wasn't this ending of fighting or nothing. Nothing happened. Like nothing unique out of the ordinary has happened at all. Okay? It was just the biggest bull trap in history because there was no reason to be bullish. There was no reason to be bullish because we were bearish even before the war happened, right? We were bearish on Citrini article, on SaaS apocalypse, on deflation. We were bullish. We were bearish on everything. I mean, we were bearish on everything. There was no reason to be bullish. Therefore, I guess that's what makes a fucking bull trap. But Trump, no matter what, you got to give the guy credit, is doing I mean, Trump is probably doing the best job of any president ever in any given moment of keeping stocks up. It's unfathomable what he's pulling off right now. And so Tokes, who I really like, wrote an article recently. We were going to read it on stream. We didn't do it, but I think he'll be a stream guest eventually. And says indexes, gold, Korean ETFs, oil, etc. It doesn't matter what it is. Everything trades like crypto nowadays, where momentum, flows, and leverage, 0-day expiration, and endless options growth are king. This is like what we live for, right? This just like is what we live for, and it is what we saw on Hyperliquid with TJ. Are you an Unk or a New Gen? What's the age gap? What we saw with oil day one, what we saw with gold pump, what we saw with silver. The way we're seeing everything trade right now is just getting further reemphasized. It's my favorite thesis. It is. I'm obsessed with it. It's my favorite thesis, bro. And then there's this CL tweet. So CL tweets and says, how much money have we made in the next bull cycle, you guys think? Bro. The only cap to how much money you can make in a bull market is how good you are. That's the honest take. The only barrier to how much money you can make in a bull is how good you are. That's it. There's nothing. I mean, there's nothing else to it than that. Not your bank. I mean, your bankroll is high if you're good. You know what I mean? Like your bankroll is high if you're good at the end of the day, or at a long enough time frame, your bankroll is high if you're good. I fear. So CL tweets and says, how insane is this stock market recovery compared to the past? It looks pretty crazy. There's another quote tweet in here, which is that I actually looked into this. Crypto Condom speaks. Historically, a 10+ consecutive day winning streak on NQ has happened once every 3 to 4 years on average over the full history for the market. In the modern era, last 25 years, it's closer to once every 5 to 7 years. It's like a once in a decade week. The last two occurrences were in November 2021 post-COVID, which served as a local top for the parabolic post-COVID stimulus rally due to inflation and quantitative tightening. Well, in July 2009, post-GFC, which progressed to a longer secular bull market due to highly accommodative Fed policy after grossly oversold conditions. We actually never really look at 2009. Two thousand nine. This one took forever to get back to ATH, bro. This one took a long time, but it also dumped way further. Dumped 58%. I mean, that would Hannah, what's good? Imagine a 58%er. Oh my god. SPX at like 3K. Oh, brother, that would be. But this took how long to get back to ATH? I mean, this took like. Bro, this took like 1,500 days to get back to ATH after 2008. That is serious. Long time. And in between, by the way, those 1,500 days, that I feel like doesn't get talked about that much. There was a 10% pullback, which is what we just experienced, which was like everyone was like dying. Then there was a 18% pullback. Then there was a 22%er. Like the way up was not super clean. 22%er. Then a -11, which is what we just experienced. And then there was an additional -11. That's significant. But anyways, point stands here that the move we just got was a move you get like once a decade. See you, Jackson. That's a move you get once a decade, which didn't even feel like anything happened. I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't make any money on this move. I don't know if people did. Chad, did you make money on this move? A once a decade move. You wouldn't even have really known anything happened. I didn't make any. Only money I made on it is a hymns long. I wouldn't even have known anything. And maybe this is me being like unk and washed. I didn't make any money other than Bitcoin spot going up like a little bit, I didn't make any money in the move. Hims long is up a little bit, but I took it like an hour ago. You know, like it wasn't like I fucking binked this shit. But yeah, is it because you're not holding equities? I don't hold any equities, but it was sort of like a generational move, which is insane. I mean, not generational, but a decade move, which is insane, and it was a fucking weird one. And here's a Chris Camillo clip I want to watch. I save all the good clips. I save all the good clips for stream. I don't watch any of them before. But this is sort of in line with the whole like retail trading thing. And please don't ask me Chris Camillo on stream. I'm fucking trying, bro. My headphones are turned off. Bro, I'm trying as hard as I can.
The majority of my alpha
he trades just like us, by the way.
Is surfaced off of what I call conversational data sets. You know, conversational data set is a fancy way to say TikTok comments, because that's where most of my alpha comes from, is just reading thousands and thousands of comments on videos every night. And the reason for that is that, you know, what do you do before you transact? So Wall Street generally focuses on transactional data sets. They pay millions of dollars, all the hedge funds do, to get credit card swipe data. And that's how they get an edge on the retail investor, because they have this data that allows them to peer into what products are selling, how companies are doing days to sometimes weeks before earnings. So how do we as retail investors kind of get an edge on them? Well, what do you do before you transact? You often talk about transacting. People talk about what they like, what they don't like.
Voice physiognomy is insane.
Like what they're doing today, what they're doing tomorrow, what they want to buy, what they're interested in. So conversational data is the bleeding edge data point. The issue with conversational data is that it's highly interpretable and it doesn't cleanly correlate historically to financial data, to earnings, to revenue. So, and the way that people speak is evolving. So I actually started a company in the mid 2000 teens called Ticker Tags with my partner Jordan, and
we gotta get him on,
sold
bro.
conversational data sets or the interpretation of conversational data to hedge funds and banks, and we did this for years. What was really amazing is they were stunned by how interestingly bleeding edge the data set was, but they didn't really have the talent pool, even in the world's biggest hedge funds, to really dive into this data and really competently use it, because it was so different from what they were accustomed to using. And it was really awkward for them to say, hey, we're going to put millions, tens of millions of dollars behind this particular trade, because people are talking about this in comments on a 19-year-old's video on TikTok. Like, you're really putting yourself out there if you're going to build a thesis around that data point. There was just not a level of comfort there. So that's an opportunity for us as retail investors.
So I don't know. I just think this is where we're headed. It really is. Also, I gotta add that Professor Jang thing, bro. I don't even want to watch it. It's so bad. Jang Bitcoin. Out to the crypto section. Hold on. Jang Bitcoin. It's so bad. The CIA shit is so fucking retarded, bro. Where's the clip? It's new. It's new. Let me see.
This is a CIA.
Oh my god, I can't. Where are the Bitcoin servers located? He's talking about. He was on Jack Neal. Yeah, we'll watch that in a little bit. I don't want to watch. I don't want to watch it yet. Also, one more thing. Going back to something I talked about before, bro. I'm telling you, I'm calling it again. Pokemon market is top, bro. It is close. It is actually close. It is got to be close. I think it's close. This is the shit that you see at the top, man. All supply and all selling and buying is just done by resellers now. I'm telling you, this is the shit. I put this on my feed. I put this on topics today. It is close. It is fucking close. I really think it's close. You've seen it, man. The game gets stolen by the market gets just hijacked by fucking lunatics. You got to understand, these scalpers and these resellers are fucking ruthless, bro. They will do millions of dollars just to move bricks. They will move millions of dollars in supply to make $5 on a pack, bro. On a sneaker. It got to the point, this happened in meme coins, this happened in sneakers, this happened in Funko Pops, this happened in art, this happened literally everywhere, bro. The only reason cards are still so expensive is that all of the supply is owned by these gotcha gambling companies, okay? And they're not selling them, they're just gambling them off. And you buy them, and they're doing mystery boxes. That's the only reason this thing is going up. I'm calling this out because on my feed every single day I'm seeing this. Does anyone here like have a significant portfolio allocation in Pokemon cards? Actually curious. I'm telling you, I'm calling it out because I'm seeing this on my feed every day. People getting killed. Like, all the signs are there. I have 200K. That's a lot. I'm telling you, the signs I'm seeing the signs, bro. It's like people getting killed, rest in peace, and shot at outside of Walmarts. People getting arrested for stealing supply. Resellers posting millions of dollars of like botted packs in their garage. Like, it's, bro, the signs, I'm telling you, they're right there. They just are right there every single time. I have a bunch of open packs hidden away because I'm long degeneracy. That is what you fucking do. But all right, before we do hymns, Allbirds, all of this, let's do a 180. I want to talk about crypto. Okay, I want to talk about crypto. I want to talk about Michael Saylor. I want to talk about Stretch. And I want to talk about CoffeeZilla. Okay, this is by far the most widespread viral coverage that we're ever going to see, at least up to this point on Stretch. It has 300,000 views in 2 hours. CoffeeZilla talking about Stretch. And I mean, this is just like market analysis. We have to watch this. This is just like market analysis. Okay, we have to watch it. Refinance the debt from who, Michael? I'm going to get up real quick. I'll be back in like 30 seconds. And we have like an hour of a lot of stuff we have to cover before I make it here. So let's fucking lock in. BRB. Mainstream rap needs to be old Yellard, bro. What are you talking about? This is like peak Uzi. I mean, old Yellard. It's peak Uzi, bro. All right, let's watch the Jang clip and let's watch the other clip. Let's do it. This is where crypto sentiment is at right now in the mainstream. First and foremost, this just came out. We haven't done Jang in a while, I'm not gonna lie. He's been sort of, bro, got glass water? Hell yeah, I got glass water.
So the moment people recognize that this is a CIA operation, people won't put their money into blockchain. People won't put their money into Bitcoin. They'll be like, I mean, why would I do that? You have to ask yourself this question: where are the blockchain servers located? Right? Because I imagine if you're able to control the hardware, you can also control the software. I don't care what they tell me about open source and all that. I want to know where the databases are, where the servers are, physically.
It's just like, I feel like if you have a platform, you have an obligation to your platform to understand things that you speak about. When you make a claim, when you make a statement, when you cover a topic. And when you come on a podcast on camera with a mic and you say something that is just so completely retarded, you lose all prior credibility for everything you've ever said. How could I take anything seriously that you've ever said when you just have no nuance for the topic that you're talking about? I mean, we lost him. I'm not going to lie. I was hyped about Jang a month ago. I was a little bit early. I wasn't early, but I was like a little bit early. I was hyped about him because I had no idea I knew nothing about anything as it related to the war. And so we were covering it. But yeah, that was a rough clip. I'm not going to lie. What's the other one?
People recognize that this is a CIA operation. People won't put their money into blockchain. People recognize that this. People recognize.
You were not early. I was like relatively early. Come on.
Come
on. I was relatively early.
People recognize that this is a CIA operation. People won't put their money into blockchain. People won't put their money in.
By the way, it also might be a CIA operation, but not because the reasons he said. Not because, like, show me where the servers are. You know? It's like, okay, dox every single millions and whatever amount of Bitcoin miners. Anyways, speaking of Bitcoin, Coffee Still just did a video on Stretch. And this is, like, the reason I think Bitcoin is getting such a strong bid right now. It's also the bear. It's ironically the bull case and the bear case for Bitcoin is Stretch. Really strong bid. I mean, without Stretch, where are we? It bought $1 billion back-to-back days. Relatively strong. I mean, all things considered, man, relatively strong. Like on BTC. I know it doesn't feel good, but this is what a strong bid on Bitcoin looks like. I don't know what to tell you. This is like where we're at in 2026. Okay, this is what a strong bid looks like. It just is. It's what a strong bid looks like, but it's the bull case and the bear case at the same time. It's also viral. So let's fucking just do it. You ready? I think this is gonna be an important one. Let's fucking do it.
It's been compared to the iPhone. It's been compared to a Ponzi scheme. Either way, a lot of people are investing and talking about a new product that's really a stock, specifically preferred stock, called Stretch. And it's sold by MicroStrategy. You may know them. They're the guys who have been buying up a lot of Bitcoin.
He's about to rip the marketing, I think. He's going to rip them for the marketing, dude. They just market towards people that are struggling. It's kind of fucked.
You may know Michael Saylor from the memes about Bitcoin. He's like, there is no second best but Bitcoin.
There is no second best. There's no second best crypto asset. There's a crypto asset. It's called Bitcoin, right?
Well, now it looks like he's changed his tune because his company is currently raising billions of dollars by offering something called Stretch. The company uses the proceeds from those sales to then go buy more Bitcoin, and they claim that this has been their fastest launch in history. They say it's growing their revenue faster than the iPhone.
So it took us 7 months to go from 0 to $5 billion in cumulative revenue. And if you compare this historically to other products, the most successful products in the world, the Apple iPhone took about a year to get to $5 billion of cumulative revenue. So from a pure product perspective,
it's 1.25.
Argue that Stretch is the fastest growing product in the history of the world.
It's tough clip.
Wow. Now, setting aside the fact that Stretch is not really a product, it's a stock, those are still some mind-blowing numbers. So what does Stretch do? I'm going to try to make it simple. You put in your money, they say they're going to yield about 11.5% a year. Now that is a variable interest rate, but it's basically double-digit returns, which is just mind-blowing. I mean, it's way more than anything you would get in your normal bank account, and that's got people curious. There's always a question with all of this.
I remember the first time I heard about a savings account in personal finance class or whatever, and I had like $100 in 8th grade, and they're telling me I can get 0.5% annualized on my savings account, and I'm supposed to be excited about that. And I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck are you talking about? 0.5% on $100? What are you talking about, man? And so I don't blame people for seeing Stretch 11.5% and being hyped. I mean, that's actually a lot, even if you don't have a lot of money. I will never forget. I'm in personal finance, and they're teaching you about compound interest, and they're like, you can get 0.3% annualized on a Bank of America account. And I'm like, Miss Finch, I have $27.
Financial engineering, anytime you see it,
I have $27. Like, what am I going to do with 0.3% annualized? That's like multiple years until I get $1. It's like, what do you, I don't even have $1 in a year.
Always wonder, what is the catch? And I like to describe it like
I was always born to trade crypto. I always thought that this personal finance shit was retarded and that these numbers suck. And since I was like 12, I'm like, there's no way I'm making it out with these compound interest numbers. I'm like, there's just no way I'm making it out with what you guys are telling me. There's no way. I'm doing math in my head. I have like a couple $100. There's no way I'm getting out of this.
a perpetual motion machine. You may have seen, these videos of people, they invent a system that can come up with free energy. And there's always, some weird base plate that's made out of wood or something that they won't let you inspect. And that's because there's always a battery hidden somewhere in the device, because no matter how many times people say they've cheated thermodynamics, actually they've just cheated you. They've hidden the actual system somewhere, and you don't really fully understand that when you're getting in. And that's really how I feel about all too good to be true yields in finance. There's always a battery hiding somewhere, or a risk that you're not really aware you're taking on. Like if you think back to the Terra Luna collapse, there was a stable.
Unfortunately, this is also how crypto is marketed to the main world.
Coin,
Fortunately, this is like where we're at.
Which is supposedly pegged to $1 until it suddenly wasn't, and then everyone lost their money suddenly in a crash. But before that, it had yielded about 20% returns. People thought it couldn't fail. And so it goes for many of the most famous financial engineering projects throughout time. It's only obvious where the risk was in hindsight for a lot of people. But I'm making this video to tell you it's also obvious in foresight.
Everything's high risk
if you
if you're a
know where
pussy.
to look. And you just know that super high yields always carry a lot of risk. The only question is, where does that risk exist in any of these engineering projects? And by the way, I'm not just using that word financial engineering as some sort of, gotcha. Like that's how Michael Saylor describes his own product.
Stretch is the simplest instrument we've ever created from the point of view of the investor. But
it's always rough when you hear like financial instrument that we've created,
it's the most ambitious piece of financial engineering from the point of view of the issuer.
And I think this is at the heart of the mismatch. When most people hear about Stretch, their friends tell them about it. Michael Saylor is talking about it all the time. They're given a very simple view.
Also, do you think this is like do any of your IRLs know what Stretch is? Like, do you have a friend that's like, hey, I know you know about this crypto thing. Do you know about Stretch? Like, does any normal people that you know what this is? Because there's no way my friends do. Fuck no. God, no. Yeah, it's brutal. Like, this is not, there's like crypto. I honestly believe the marginal buyer of Stretch is exclusively higher net worth crypto people that understand the risk. They know how much cash Saylor has on hand, and they're keeping it in there until it has any actual level of risk, and they're getting the fuck out. Like, in my opinion, the people that are actually using this product and buying it are really talented, smart, and they get it. And they're ready to run. It's Taiki. It's like the Taikis of the world. The threadguys of the world. Those kind of like really high net worth, high brain power individuals.
A very...
or the mega poors that I don't like that word. The mega just like down bad people that don't have enough money for it to really matter.
To be true view.
Bro got me to say mega poor is crazy.
Where Stretch is some money market-like instrument, where it's like a bank, where it's like a savings account, but it's paying you 11.5%. But you dig into the details, and that's not what it is. And the risks are not too different from the risks you have just buying Bitcoin, except the way those risks manifest.
Dude, you can't say shit like that. You can't call me a mega poor. It's like insane. Looks at watches for one day and calls us mega poors. It's like the retard mega poors.
Financial engineering instrument are just very different. Instead of getting a very volatile product, you are tying your risk to Bitcoin, more specifically strategy, and their general ability to pay this yield.
Okay, one more thing, and I'll let the video play. It's like, to all the mega retard fuck poors, the thing about the Stretch that I don't really get is like, Okay, you could get like 5-6% actually risk-free. 4.5%, 5% actually risk-free. Or you could long Bitcoin. And the only reason you even long Bitcoin is upside volatility. Or you could do stretch and you could be stuck in the middle where you take the volatility of Bitcoin, but then your upside is capped at like 11%. And so you don't get the upside and you take on the volatility in theory. And so it's like a little bit like a middle ground product. Like, I don't know. Maybe I should have money in it. I don't. Does anyone here use it? I don't know. I still like, does anyone here use it? I have money in it.
Perpetuity forever. So this video, I will admit, is going to be a long one, but maybe we should start.
Bro, I can't stop
by
laughing
just
at Mega
taking a
Pores. You're a
look
dick.
At some of these honestly insane ads
Mega
that
retard
they've been
Pore.
running about Stretch. Okay, so this is a tweet.
Oh,
from
the ads are so
executive
bad. The
chairman
ads are
of
so bad. They're
Strategy,
so bad.
Michael
This is gonna be bad.
Saylor. It
This
says,
is gonna be
you
bad.
weren't meant to live an uncomfortable life. And then this is the video.
Are you on vacation here?
I live here. I'm retired. I just don't think I'm meant to live an uncomfortable life.
Wow. How did you make it?
I worked hard as an engineer to save money. Again. Then I put my savings into Stretch.
What is Stretch?
Stretch is a stock. Right now I get about 11% a year in dividends. Nice.
It's the Stretch, 11% monthly cash dividends.
Okay.
Video wouldn't look great in court case.
I'm going to pause to let your brain absorb the abomination. That was an AI-generated retired engineer who invested their savings into MicroStrategy's Stretch. Now
Bro,
they're
all
making
the boomers
11% a
love
year.
AI slop.
I mean, do I even need to say it's too good to be true when it's literally a fake ad? Like, this person literally does not exist. But you can see the...
Gary Gensler is deadass seizing on the floor. Body can't move. Locked up top to bottom watching what's going on with Michael Saylor and Stretch.
Pitch is pretty simple. They're not explaining the risks. They're just showing you a girl on a beach claiming she's retired. And my point is, this is not a sophisticated pitch, and that's actually by design. Michael Saylor constantly harps about how simple the pitch for Stretch is.
Stretch is the simplest instrument we've ever created. Here's what I realize, right?
Wait, is this from Bankless? That just came out? This... Hey, DNAP, see if there's any more clips. This came out yesterday. I didn't watch it.
Stretch is the simplest instrument
I didn't
we've ever
watch it.
created.
Fuck.
Here's what I realized,
Bankless is
right?
cooking.
The world doesn't want you to write 10,000 pages of history to explain what's going on. They don't have time to read. The world just wants the answer. What do I want? I want to put my money in a bank. I want them to pay me 10%. I don't want the government to tax it. Okay, how long was that conversation? That was like 12 seconds?
Mm-hmm. Right, so key to strategy is its simplicity, according to Michael Saylor. That's what the world wants, and specifically, he's pitching to retail investors. He's pitching to everyday investors.
They'll never make me hate Saylor,
He says
bro.
most of the buyers are everyday people.
In fact, 80% of Stretch is held by retail investors. And so it's meant to be a retail product that's really easily accessible by anybody.
80% of this thing that's raising billions of dollars is being held by mom and pops, not institutional investors.
I don't believe this to be true. I wish I could see some math on the average net worth of a Stretch investor, but I would imagine it's high. I would imagine it's like sub six figure or north of six figures.
Who understand the risks of preferred stocks, who understand that they can suspend dividends if they want, who understand that ultimately MicroStrategy has no obligation to pay you back the initial money you put in. That's fine. That's one thing. But we instead have this product that's being marketed by their own admission to regular people. They admit it's an ambitious piece of financial engineering, but when they talk about it, they're using words like bank. You know, their CEO is recommending it for low-income investors.
But what about people who are watching who maybe live paycheck to paycheck? They're lower income. Is this a product that would make sense for
Can I just say something about low-income trading, by the way? This might be a really bad... Tell me if this is an out-of-touch... I'm warning you, this might be an out-of-touch take, okay? I might be really out of touch on this, so correct me if I'm wrong on this. I'm just giving you a... Yeah. Wait, hold on.
who maybe live paycheck to
The
paycheck.
fucking retard megapores. No, I'm kidding. This might be out of touch take, but if you do live, like, if you are really, really, really strapped for cash, what does 11% on that really like accomplish? On the trading side, especially, because if you're buying stretch, you are obviously tapped into what's going on, right? Like you know who Michael Saylor is, you know what stretch. Like to even get to stretch, it's infinite hoops you have to jump through. This isn't like make a Robinhood account. This is some next level shit. I don't even really know how I would buy it. I don't have any. And so like, if you have, $100 a month left over max, I don't think you're putting it in a 10% yield asset. Like you would rather just chuck that thing into 0 days probably. Because then maybe you have a chance to bank 2-3K and then you can get out of it a little bit. Like you could then start to climb yourself out. But I never understood marketing these products towards people that are really struggling, because like why? There's no upside at all. Versus some of the 8-figure, I see Ape in here, some of the 8-figure chads in here that could actually slam this thing and could have high upside on 11%. You know what I mean? 9-figure chads, Apewood X, 9-figure chads. It's like, yeah, you actually have upside. It makes sense. 11% on 50 mil. It's like, yeah.
check.
I don't know. I never understood it.
They're lower income. Is this a product that would make sense for them?
Yeah, this is another sort of aspect of this product that excites me, and I know having written Bitcoin for everyone, right? Like
if I hear him say the word retard megapore, I'll put money into stretch.
I'd like to say stretch is for everyone. And I know this is important to you, is a product that is for people across all income levels.
Say it!
But is it really for everyone? I mean, if you just have a rainy day fund, should you be investing what was in a money market, what was in a bank into stretch, right? The way they talk about it, really, you'd be forgiven for believing that, yes, it's kind of the same. I mean, her question literally was people living paycheck to paycheck.
Paycheck to paycheck.
And he said, yes, you should invest in their preferred stock where the primary risk is tied to both Bitcoin, a known volatile product, and MicroStrategy.
I'd like to say stretch is for everyone.
Here's Michael Saylor. Stretch delivers money market-like stability with market-leading risk-adjusted returns. Guys,
it's really bad for marketing to retarded
very directly to a money market. Once again, here's the CEO.
Think about it as how you might get paid on a money market, or how, and I like the monthly payout because it almost looks like a paycheck.
So again, you can see why this is compelling to people, right? They're presenting it like such a simple thing. It's just like your savings account, right? But better, but just juiced returns. Now, what is the problem with that? Well, ultimately, Stretch is nothing like a savings account. It is a stock, meaning the company has no obligation to...
I don't know how this ends, but it can't be good, right? And it's so whack that the discussion for Bitcoin in a era where you look at BTC versus gold since the war started, is giga outperformed, right? Bitcoin has been one of the best holding, I guess, SPY is now, SPX is now, but before the last 2 days of erasing a lot of losses, Bitcoin's looked incredible. Bitcoin's looked really good over the last couple of days, couple of weeks, at least relatively. And the only discussion is when is Saylor buying, how much is Saylor buying, what's Saylor's liquidation, what's his blow up price? It's the only discussion is fucking Michael Saylor.
Pay you that money back.
Live by the sword,
$100. They have no obligation to pay you back. And you actually find this in sort of the longer podcasts where Michael Saylor gets kind of asked about some of the risks of this strategy. And he uses the double speak of how they talk about this stuff to, on the one hand, make it seem like, oh, well, strategy really has no obligation to pay these people, so there's not much risk of a bankruptcy.
Also, one more thing, CoffeeZilla has the worst job in the world trying to fight crime in a society where they are encouraging crime is unreal. I mean, this is the most thankless, miserable job on earth. I honestly kind of feel bad for him. He probably does print, and it's like a good bit, but man, what a... It is a good bit, but it's like being Batman in Gotham City, but like you don't have any weapons at all. It's like you're Batman, but like you have no wings. Can't punch. It's like Batman, but you're like... I don't know, I was going to say something really retarded.
If they can't pay these obligations, while at the same time making it seem like they're definitely going to pay you the money.
When we sell STRC, we're selling equity.
Mega poor Batman.
When you give
Retarded
me $1
mega poor
million to
Batman.
buy a preferred equity with a variable dividend, if you read the securities document and you understand what that security is,
Batman, but he's fucking poor and retarded.
you're entering into a perpetual swap. I am agreeing as the issuer to give you SOFR, the standard overnight funds rate, plus a credit spread determined by the company. And you are agreeing to give the company that capital forever. And so that, and you're not getting the money back.
They're like, what?
So
Look at this.
it's
like,
not
what?
an overnight loan. There is no collateral call. You have no redemption right.
I don't even know what that means, honestly. Let's actually figure out what that means. SOFR. Secured overnight financing rate data. The mega retard poors don't know about this. Sorry. SOFR is a broad measure of the cost of borrowing cash overnight collateralized by U.S. Treasury security, published data. Okay. So like the cost for banks to borrow money? Collateralized by U.S. Treasury securities. Published daily by the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. It serves as a prime benchmark for replacing liver. Got it. Okay, let's watch that, but go back now.
Credit spread determined by the company. And you are agreeing to give the company that capital forever.
The cost of a company to borrow money from a bank. Got it.
So that, and you're not getting the money back. So it's not an overnight loan. There is no collateral call. You have no redemption right. Yeah, you can't. It's not like you can go to the bank and say, "Give me the $1 million back tomorrow." In fact, you're not getting the money back ever.
Now that
Lukaku,
sounds
of course.
a lot different than like what people imagine when they hear, bond, loan, money market, bank, right?
Would you like a bank account that pays you 11% that's tax deferred? STRC.
When Michael Saylor suddenly says, well, you have no
That was really smooth, by the way. That was like
bank, right?
Finding a new marginal buyer type of smooth.
Would you like a bank account that pays you 11% that's tax deferred? STRC.
When Michael Saylor suddenly says, well, you have no redemption right.
You have no redemption right.
You actually can't get your money back.
In fact, you're not getting the money back ever.
You're giving it to us in perpetuity. Our only obligation is a dividend. A dividend, by the way, which they can suspend to avoid insolvency.
If the company couldn't...
I mean, like, that part makes sense, though. I think it's, unless I'm missing something, that part makes sense because it's like, okay, they're not going to redeem your cash back to you. You could just sell the stock. And they're obligated. They're also, I don't think, obligated to give the dividend, but they are giving the dividend. And so they could theoretically pull the rug under you, I guess. But what stock is obligated to give you the cash back? I don't. Is that that part is a little confusing to me.
To us in perpetuity.
Like, yeah, you give them the money and then they buy Bitcoin with it, and then they give you stretch and they give you a yield dividend. Like, you buy stock, they give you stock.
Our only obligation is a dividend. A dividend, by the way, which they can suspend to avoid insolvency.
If the company couldn't pay the dividend without being insolvent, it would suspend the dividend for 12 weeks. By law, you can't pay a dividend on a preferred stock that would create an insolvency event for the issuer.
That all of a sudden changes the narrative. But again, that's going to take more time to explain. And Michael Saylor's whole strategy ironically, is to go with a much simpler pitch, which is, hey, it's just like a money market, but better. It's money market light. And this kind of dual use of language, where there he's kind of defending how it's good for the company. Like, hey, we're not going to get liquidated if Bitcoin goes down because we technically owe these people nothing. We can suspend the dividend.
It is literally impossible to create an insolvency or to bankrupt an issuer of a preferred stock.
But on the other hand, like pitching it like a money market or pitching it like a bank, where in both of those cases, you are reasonable to expect to have your money back. But here, obviously, you don't. Now, why haven't people realized this? Why haven't people realized there could be a risk of this stock?
Wait, hold on. Sorry. I want to see this real quick.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I missed it.
We're going to talk about, but he asked me last week, and I said, okay. Yeah, so I will be on history. I have no idea. So he's on X. Okay, you guys know him?
Wait.
Big crypto dude.
Oh, wait.
Guy. Stream at 6 p.m. on Twitch with a guy called Threadguy. Yeah, does anyone know this guy? He's like a big crypto dude, and I'll link his thing right here.
Oh, who's doxing me?
Be live at 6 p.m. So he's on X. Okay, you guys know him? Yeah, so I will be on history. I have no idea what we're going to talk about, but he asked me last week, and I said okay. And yeah, so I'll be on his stream at 6. So we'll be on for the next 30 minutes, go through some other headlines we got, and then
K from midstream, welcome, brother.
Was a cool promo that he made. This shit looks legit.
Let's go, man.
We got, and then it was a cool promo that he made. This shit looks legit. Look at that. Thread X AMIT. Looks like, look at that, bro. It kind of makes me want to bring my beard and long hair back. That's legit, dude. It looks so dope. Like, I know you guys like the short hair, but I don't know.
Nah, me and Elliot cooked.
We need to explore some options. So yeah, I'll be with him 6 p.m. Eastern, and we'll chop it up about whatever he wants to talk about. Okay.
Sick.
It was still
my guy. I had to see that real quick. Let's fucking go. Oh, how do people put up for midstream? Hey, he's gonna be here if you're watching on Twitter, whatever. He's gonna be here in 30 minutes. Until he comes, we're talking about the Michael Saylor Ponzi that's sent Bitcoin up about $2,000, which we're calling outperforming. 6 more minutes left. Let's
going down, and them ultimately not getting their $100 back that they put in. Well, this is where we get to some of that financial engineering we were talking about. Part of the way Stretch mimics a bank account, mimics a savings account, is that they are trying to keep it as close to $100 in value at all times. You can see Michael Saylor posted, it's a 1 cent market.
Subtle mutual follow flex.
Closed
Subtle
at par,
mutual follow flex.
Meaning the idea is there's almost no volatility in this stock. You can also see a longer duration here where it mostly hovers around $100. Now, how are they achieving this? Well, it's actually pretty simple. Basically, when it falls below $100, they just raise the dividend, start offering more money until enough people buy it to bring it at $100. And above $100, they issue more shares to make it fall to $100. So you're given this constant impression that this thing is worth $100, so you never fear the idea of this thing falling and losing your principal. Even if strategy won't cash you out, somebody else hopefully will buy your stock at the same amount you bought it for, and you just collect the dividends, right? That's the idea behind it. The problem with it, well, currently, in order to keep it at par, Michael Saylor says they've raised the dividend rate 5 times.
So what are they going to do if it doesn't trade at $100? They're going to raise the dividend rate.
This is how this thing unravels. Is that people start to get panic about how much cash he has left, and he's raise it, and you get like an unravel. Like the one thing I don't understand about Stretch is the actual process to unravel. Like what happens?
They done that? Yeah, 5 times.
So ultimately, Stretch will only stay at $100, and you will not risk losing your principal investment as long as there's another guy willing to buy it at $100. Now, again, they have that lever of increasing the dividend more and more and more to try to keep bringing new people in, but that only lasts as long as people see strategy as being well backed enough by Bitcoin. Which brings us back to what this all eventually is. What are your primary risks? Well, it's Bitcoin, which is volatile, and its strategy itself and their own ability to pay these dividends and not suspend them. Because even though they say they can suspend them, the second they do, you can bet that Stretch is going to fall precipitously, and a lot of people are going to be running for the door. And
That's a nice one. Precipitously. I like that. Thank you, Coffee.
A lot of people
I
are
really
going
like
to
that,
lose money.
actually.
Now, I want to be clear that I'm not forecasting doom on the horizon of Stretch. I am not even calling it a
Chat, spell
Ponzi
that.
scheme, although
Somebody spell
I
that.
think there are some comparisons you could make. In fact, I think they disclose a lot of the risks in the fine print. My entire problem is that they are leading people like a Pied Piper with this kind of ludicrous idea. Their pitch is of a money market and a bank, when that's just not what this is. And this is a snowball of yield that will accumulate for this company, which admittingly does have tons of Bitcoin. They have this massive treasury, but Bitcoin, it's very well known, does not yield anything. So eventually, Stretch will have to be funded by what exactly, right? They have a cash reserve, but that'll eventually run out. Bitcoin doesn't yield anything, so you'd have to sell it at some point, which would put a negative pressure on your entire treasury. Or they can try to keep issuing shares in perpetuity, but how are they going to do that? Well, maybe they just keep raising the yield of Stretch. Doesn't seem like that would work forever. You can pretty quickly realize
It's just so frustrating. This is the narrative for Bitcoin. TG, can I get an interview for my college project? Yeah, you can. If you could prove to me you actually have a college project that requires interviewing me, I'll do it. It's just that I'll watch the rest of the video and we'll move on because we have other shit to talk about. It's more important than this. But the thing that's annoying, the most annoying about this is that the only narrative for Bitcoin right now is Michael Saylor at a point where there's actually quite a few coinciding narratives that could be positive for BTC. Like there really could be, but we're stuck with Saylor as like the overhang. If coins are good, it's because Saylor. If coins are bad, it's because Saylor. If things go well, it's because of Saylor. If things don't go well, it's because of Saylor. And I really think, I don't know, a lot of people are tweeting this ironically, hyperliquid is the new BTC. It really makes you look at crypto and think to yourself, there is some other interesting stuff here that isn't just BTC that maybe plays better. What Coffee misses is that MicroStrategy can and will sell the BTC to redeem the outstanding Stretch shares. The cash flows are the same as coin margin BTC long position on perp. But then what happens once he starts selling Bitcoin? Dude, that first Bitcoin sale from Saylor is going to hit like fucking Luna, bro. Like that's going to be a scary moment when that happens. Maybe I'm over indexing for how important that is. But it feels like that first sale is going to be horrifying.
is that, hey, this is maybe not as sustainable as they're claiming it is.
Not at all, really?
Of course, unless you believe in what Michael Saylor does. I mean, he says his expected return on Bitcoin is 30% a year.
We think Bitcoin's going up about 30% a year. So can I pay a dividend of 10%, 11%? Yeah, sure I can. That's like 1/3 of my expected ARR.
If you believe what Michael Saylor just said, one, you should just be investing in Bitcoin directly. But yeah,
that's the problem, I think.
Can pay that dividend in perpetuity, of course.
But if you're rich and you're already tits leveraged or tits long exposed to Bitcoin, his average sell price is lower than 80% of the market price we started selling, then his size was too large relative to the actual demand for BTC. Otherwise, it's totally fine. That's fair.
If anything goes up 30% a year, they can pay 11% of that to pay some kind of, money market-like account. But that is not where most people are. It's definitely not where most of retail investors are. They aren't in a position where they can make those kind of bets, right? And had that all been properly disclosed up front, had Michael Saylor actually laid out the entire pitch, that's fine. I actually have no problem with people engaging in financial wizardry as long as they're disclosing what it is. But when you mislead people in the pitch, that's where I have my entire problem. So I think people just need to be aware. If you hear people compare Stretch to a bank, to a money market, to any kind of debt instrument where the person is actually obligated to pay you the amount back, please correct them. That is not what is going on here. And the financial engineering is actually to make it look like it's those things when it is very much, in fact, not. You still have the same risks you have with any stock.
It's a pretty good video, to be fair. Fastest growing product ever, that's a stretch. Watching how rich people behave when we exist in utter lawlessness is terrifying. Well, unfortunately, we've been there for a while. When I hear financial engineering, we should probably ban the financial engineering word. I probably wouldn't use that one too much. Right? Like, I don't think that's one that I would really double down on in the future. Maybe new type trader. When the founders can't easily explain what they're selling you, they run away. It's just like a little complicated, you know? Casinos now called investing. The predatory way these people talk about the products. Yeah, I think the narrative behind it is just a little bit like, you know? Doesn't feel great. But here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna get up real quick. I'll be back in 20 minutes. Back in 20 minutes. I'm back in 20 seconds. And then we have like 20 minutes of important topics to bang, 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 bang. And then we got AMIT coming on, which is gonna be cinema. All right, I'll be right back. DM the counterparty account on Twitter. I need to see like your teacher, your grade. By the way, if you have under a B, actually, I'd probably be more inclined to help you if you have worse grade. If you have under a C, though, I'm not doing it. You got to get your grade above a C. You gotta get above a C. You have to be above a C, otherwise, what's the point? Chat, does anyone here watch AMIT daily? Does anyone here watch him daily or like weekly? I feel like we're about to have a sick crossover. That's low-key my guy. I'm not gonna lie. He doesn't know it yet. I'm also probably not gonna glaze him. I'm probably not gonna glaze him too much at the beginning. At the end, I will. But I'm a daily. I watch him every morning, bro. Like actually, I actually watch him every morning. Not gonna lie. I started watching him when you showed his stream. Do you like it or not? All right. Couple crazy trades that happened today. Allbirds and Hims. I'm in one of them. I am in one of them. Good short bear thesis post. I just saw that while I was pissing. I got the notification. I'm in one of them. What kind of questions? I already put my life on the 3-hour counter stream. GG. All right. This is the announcement today, which is crazy because we actually covered Allbirds not that long ago. Which is that Allbirds, the shoe company once valued at $4 billion, is a public company and the stock exchange lost 99% of its value and was purchased for $39 million. I didn't even know what this was, bro. I'm going to be honest. They're horrifying shoes. They look like just random like Walmart runners. And there's nothing wrong with Walmart runners, but this does not look like a... There's nothing wrong with the Target runner. I'm just saying it didn't look like this is... Like if I saw somebody wearing this, I'd have no idea what it is. Okay, I'm just being completely honest. Chat, do you own a pair or not? Do you own a pair... Retard Megapore shoes. Stop, dude. Stop with that. We're about to have some new people here. Like, please stop with that. Stop. You got to stop with that, bro. Please. Okay? We're about to have new people here. Like, we have to be on our best behavior. Seriously. No more of that, please. Anyways. They were once valued at $4 billion. Lost 99% when the company was purchased for $39 million. Very recently. I think it was purchased like 2 months ago. A couple weeks ago. Let me see. Allbirds purchase. Yeah, 2 weeks ago. So for $39 million, which is like not crazy. I mean, that's not like that insane. Purchased for $39 million. They rebranded as an AI company. And the stock surged 350, now like 650% in one day. What are shitty shoes nobody wants an AI have in common? And then he talks about it a little bit. He wants to do the same thing. And so a lot of people everyone's basically posting the same exact thesis and saying pure.com vibes. Okay, it's a little bit 7th inning stretch. Shoe company Allbirds just announced it's planning to 1, sell off all of its brands and footwear assets. 2, rebrand the company to New Bird AI. 3, use a $50 million convertible financing facility to acquire high-performance GPU assets. So here's the press release. Let's go open an image, a new tab. Here's the press release. Following its prior announcement that it has entered a definitive agreement to sell the Allbirds brand and footwear assets to American Exchange Group, which intends to continue to build on Allbirds' legacy and deliver compelling products to Allbirds customers. Today announced the execution of a definitive agreement with an institutional investor for a $50 million convertible financing facility. The facility, which is expected to close during the second quarter of 2026, will enable the company to pivot its business to AI compute infrastructure with a long-term vision to become a fully integrated GPU as a service, GPU as a service, an AI native cloud solutions provider. In connection with this pivot, the company anticipates changing its name to New Bird AI, GPUAS. As described in the company's proxy materials filed with the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, conversion of the facility is subject to stockholder approval at the upcoming special meeting of stockholders, anticipated to take place on May 18th. For stockholders of record as of April 13th. Here, final. New Bird's AI expects to use initial capital from the facility to acquire high-performance GPU assets, which would be deployed to serve customers requiring dedicated access to AI compute capacity. New Bird's AI long-term vision is to become a fully integrated GPU as a service, parentheses, GPU as, and AI native cloud solutions provider. Over time, the company tends to grow its neo cloud platform by expanding its compute and service offerings, deepening partnerships with operations and customers, and evaluating strategic M&A opportunities. This is kind of insane. The rise of AI development and adoption has created unprecedented structural demand for specialized high-performance compute that the market is struggling to meet. Global enterprise spending on AI services and data center investment are on a rise. At the same time, GPU procurement lead times are increasing for high-end hardware. North American data center vacancy rates have reached historic lows, and market-wide compute capacity coming online through mid-2026 is already fully committed. The result is a market where enterprises, AI developers, and research organizations are unable to secure the compute resources they need to build, run, and train AI at scale. So we will be using Allbirds to serve our needs. New Bird AI being built to help close that gap. The company will initially seek to acquire high-performance, low-latency AI compute hardware and provide access under long-term lease arrangements, meeting customer demand that spot markets and hyperscalers are unable to reliably service. And that is where Allbirds comes into play. So they make this announcement, which feels very akin to, like, I don't know, back in the day when holding Bitcoin on your balance sheet was like a big deal, would make stocks go up. And this is what the chart looks like. I think it's Bird. Ticker Bird. Look at this. Yeah, this is the chart. I mean, a crazy gap up, and then just like, I mean, you could have bought it like on open after the gap up, and still, I mean, there's like was a couple X's in there, 3 X's in there, something stupid. And so, look, I'm not ever going to be a guy to tell you that the top is here. I'm not ever going to be a guy to call the top of anything, the end of anything. I hate the whole innings discussion. I hate all of it. But what I am going to say is that when you see a dead company worth $40 million pump by 10x, basically, it's not worth $300-400 million on news that they're pivoting to AI without doing anything. They've done nothing, right? They haven't raised any money. They've basically done nothing. Maury, thanks for the gifted. When you see that announcement, we generally start to get a little bit frothy, right? Because what happens next is every other dead company that's struggling right now looks at this and is like, why don't we do the exact same thing? Right? That sounds like a good idea. Fuck it, Hims. Fuck it, Hims AI. Why don't we do the exact same thing? Is what I think comes next. And so, yeah, kind of a crazy announcement today. I mean, it basically is my whole feed. I don't know if it's yours too, or I'm just completely fried. But I didn't. Did anyone trade it? It was this pretty sick mega church trade. Really explodes more than 700%. It got up to like 1,000%. I think at one point pulled back a little bit before it closed. I don't know where we are at right now, but yeah, a lot of like this is pure.com copy paste slop. But that is number one. Actually, let's watch this. I actually want to watch this. I'm not gonna lie. Snap is not on hype, but Hims is. Hims is. Snap is not.
All right. DDTG
Really excited for Dave Portnoy analysis of Allbirds.
exclusive. I just want to make sure I'm understanding this Allbird.
By the way, it doesn't look great, but I am a Portnoy fan.
All right. DDTG exclusive. I just want to make sure I'm understanding this Allbirds story. Allbirds stock is up like 800% today. Now, Allbirds is the company that makes sneakers. You may have or may not have heard of them. They basically went bankrupt. They couldn't sell sneakers, lost like 97% of their net worth. And then they announced, they woke up this morning, rolled out of bed, and like, you know what? We're done with sneakers. We're now an AI company. They have nothing to do with each other as far as I can see. And the stock is up 800%. They went to bed, a sneaker company, a failed sneaker company, and woke up and just screamed out loud, we're an AI company. And they're up 800%. Should I do that with Barstool? Go public and just be like, we're now an AI company? I do not get it. All right. DDTG.
Yeah, I mean, fair though, right? Like, I'm not biggest Portnoy fan either. But, you know, one of them doesn't matter. Two of them, you think, not great. Three of them, the trend starts to accelerate. And then you get into 10, 15, and then you have a fucking end of the road. But the one thing, though, is that Allbirds pumps, I think, daily 600%. Pumps 600% intraday. But then the next dead company to announce the same thing is going to, Nike AI, is going to come out and it's going to pump significantly less, right? 300, 400, depending on what their plan is, what the company is. Next one's going to do the same. Next one's going to do the same. Next one's going to do the same. And so you know how it works with the diminishing show returns, right? And so it probably definitely got this attention premium on that. So that's trade number one. That was a sick one today if you hit it. Didn't hit it. Didn't trade it. Second, what happened today that I did trade, I'm actually in. They have it on Hyperliquid. And it's done 5 mil volume. It's 6 mil OI. Funding is insane. But I did long it just for fun, not with any crazy size, but just to click it. I was kind of late. Somebody in the pit hit it, by the way. The pit is fucking early to this shit. Eli's in the pit. It was the same one that hit the Farcoin short. Called this out and binked this really hard. I hope he made a lot of money on this. The guy's a fucking wizard. I'm not going to lie. Called it in the pit. Real deal trader shit. So announcement comes out today that, which one should I read? Read this last. Yeah, cool. So Secretary Kennedy, the guy with the podcast, announced today we took long overdue action to restore science, accountability, and rule of law. In September 2023, the Biden FDA pushed a number of peptides into Category 2, quote, bulk substances that raise significant safety risks, driving a dangerous black market that puts Americans at risk. Not a bad take. Now, after nominators withdrew 12 peptides, Eli's, we're glazing you, bro. The FDA will move them from Category 2 and bring them to PCAC at its next 2 meetings, beginning in July, where independent experts will rigorously evaluate each substance on its scientific merits using full clinical, pharmaceutical, and safety evidence. Okay, those drugs are, and not limited to, BCP-157, thymosine beta-4 fragment, aka LKKTETQ. I don't know what any of these are. I don't really want to pronounce them. GHK, which I know a lot of people take. Epitalin. I don't know what any of these are, bro. I don't know what any of these are, really. I know BPC, and I also know GHK. And it's a little bit bizarre to me how many people I know that have taken this shit. It's like what? It's not approved. It's not FDA approved. What does Modest do? Let's look some of these up. But I don't know anything about the FDA either, to be honest. This isn't really my this isn't my domain here. I'm not much of a drug. Tell me I took finasteride and had a panic attack. I'm not really like the drug guy. Smoked a little weed once upon a time, but I'm not the drug guy. It's a signaling peptide that acts as an exercise mimetic, regulating metabolism. It targets insulin resistance. Okay, obesity. What does this do? Synthetic, derived from the penal. Anti-aging. Whoa. Whoa. I'm interested in that. What about this? This sounds like crazy. Fuck off. Q&A. Designed to improve cognitive function by boosting synapatic connectivity. It acts as a CMET receptor. God. Once you get into the bio stuff, it gets crazy. But the one that I do know a lot of people take is, a lot of people, chat, everyone take this? Is BPC. I know a lot of people taking this. Synthetic peptide derived from human gastric juice, widely used in research for its potential to accelerate healing of muscles, ligaments, tendons, and gut health. Interesting. A lot of people take this. I know a lot of people that take this. GHK. A naturally occurring copper-binding tripeptide found in human plasma that declines with age. It acts as a potent regenerative agent, promoting skin remodeling, wound health, collagen synthesis. Interesting. Yeah, no, I'm the first person in my bloodline to read this this sentence, by the way. But anyways, this announcement comes out, and it is redirecting all attention to Hims, who is like the easiest over-the-counter drug doctor, whatever you want to call it, prescription pharmacist in the game. It's where I got my hair pills from, because it was just like the easiest thing of all time. And so there was a crazy kind of rip on Hims right off this announcement that I actually traded. I'm in it right now because you can trade it on HL. It wasn't like a crazy pump, but it looks pretty it's just like an interesting company that I had always thought about when we talk about the mega church stuff. The one trend everybody wants to long is looks maxing, right? Everyone's like looks maxing. How do you long looks maxing? And it's like the obvious answer you get every time is long Hims. It pumped 50% today, 40%. So it was like long Hims, but then you look at the stock and it's like, what the fuck? What is this? It looks terrible. It had historically looked terrible, and so it got a nice pump today. Let's see what else it likes. LOY, Eli Lilly. Didn't at all. Why? I wonder why. Why did Hims pump and this didn't? And then VO. Why did Hims pump and this didn't? VO pump like 4%. Damn, why did this not go up today? Lily. Huh. That is a little bit I'm not sure I have a great take on that. Check the Aster chart. It's like, does no one take this shit seriously? What do you mean Aster chart? For what? What is this? Looks terrible. It's like, is this a joke? It's like we have a massive interview in 7 minutes. We're looking at Hims mega church trade up 17% in a day, and you're like, look at the Aster chart. The fuck, man? This chart is more important than Hims? This? Dude, do me a favor. Do me a favor. Open TradingView. Click the drop-down arrow that has alts. Pull it up. Hover over Aster. Move your finger to the right where there's a trash can and click it. Please. That's number one today, or I guess number two today. And then the third announcement that's crazy, we covered it yesterday, is it's fucking crazy it went up. But we had the Snap mega church trade on Irenic. Was it Irenic Capital? Came out, made that announcement discussing Snap. I think they took a stake of like 3. This is the funniest stream of all time. Am I just like a? This is the they took like, I think they took 3% stake in Snap. They created a Twitter account. They made this like 100-slide deck, and they went fucking activist. And they proposed a bunch of ideas for how to make Snap 8x. And it pumped a lot on that initial candle. Like, let's see, it pumped like 30-ish%. Let's go like the 4-hour. Yeah, look, you could see very clearly where they got. So they got an initial pump out of this thing of like bottom to top like 30%. Okay, which was impressive to start. And then today, which was a rumor that came out yesterday, which is that Snapchat is laying off roughly 1,000 full-time employees, or 16% of its workforce. That's a lot. Part of an effort by CEO Evan Spiegel to reduce costs and achieve profitability. And now there's this brutal post, which is like, bro, I feel like he's one of the cooler CEOs. Like, I know people hate him, but as far as like what company CEO would I want to kick it with at a party? He's probably like mid, I don't know, upper 10%, top 10 percentile, I would say, of like who would I want to kick it with. And upper 10%, he was fucking ripping at Coachella, which was like 2 days ago. And so all these photos came out of, it's kind of brutal timing, I'm not going to lie. All these photos came out of him at Coachella, and the next day they announced they're laying off 1,000 employees. But that isn't really the point. The main point is that it pumped 30% of the Irenic Capital activist investing, which you know I love, announcement. And then basically since then, on the back end of the layoffs and just general momentum, it's up another 27%. And so bottom to top here, Snap is up 57%. That's a nice one. That is definitely a nice one. That's a good trade. That is a very good trade. And so this was a fun one. I didn't take this. I like fucked around with the Irenic cap, if you remember, like in the like mid 4s on like Robinhood options, but I have no size in Robinhood whatsoever. And so I didn't pay much attention to that. But all right. We got a Mick coming on in 3 minutes. I'm pretty hype. I think he's still on stream. He's gonna come on in a minute. I gotta lock in. And so if you're watching on YouTube, Twitter, and you want to chat, twitch.tv/threadguy is the place. I'm pretty hype. I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty hype. Cause I'm just like a fan. I'm just like a fan. I watch his streams. I peep him every morning. I'm pretty hype about it. So I'm gonna get up one more time real quick. I'm gonna go lock in, and then we'll be on with the Mitt in like 3 minutes. Also, if you don't know who he is, he's like the GOAT of retail. He's like the face of retail trading. And so he actually doesn't know it, but he covers a lot of the stuff we cover. We talk about a lot of the same things. Our approach is probably relatively similar. Like there's a lot of crossover, except he just has more people and it's more TradFi focused. So it's gonna be a fun one. Baby. Welcome. Yeah, I'm a big fan. I tell you, I watch him every morning, and I don't watch shit. I really don't watch. I watch very little content these days. I'm gonna be honest. I watch very little content. I mostly focus on my own, and then I'll do big interviews. Like I'll watch Chris Camillo every once in a while. I'll watch. You put me onto a man, I can't lie. That's what I do, man. I'll watch Jensen Dwarkash just came out. Mudang birthday soon, bro. It's 2026, man. It's 2026. Mudang's like 12 years old. I thought Chris Camillo was gonna come on stream. Yeah, so did I. And y'all just come in here and rage bait and talk about fucking Mudang, bro. It's like, what are we talking about? It's just like, you guys just wait. I gotta focus. What happened? He's just some of these guys. You know how it is. Like big guests are hard to bank. He will eventually be on, I'm sure. But you know how it goes. Mudang birthday's wild. Let's look at it real quick. I gotta focus. Mudang. My bad. I just want to max long peanut and retire. You're just like you're in the wrong era, G. Up 5% today. It had some crazy moves. Low-key looks bottomed. I'm gonna go max long Retardio. I missed that era, I can't lie. Retardio is such a good one. Wow, 2 mil. Oh my god. I never understand like who the buyers are at Mega Church Trade. I never understand like who the buyers are in this. Like who's the $68,000 of volume on this thing today? Like who did this and why? Why'd you do it? You know? This was a very fun era when this was a thing. Oh my god. Yeah. Ask Amit about hymns. I'm in the hymns trade, by the way, Frank. Slightly in Babyly. And I think it's a shit product because I'm taking a finesse trade. I don't feel very good. I'm not gonna lie. I do not feel very good. But I will ask about hymns. I'm gonna ask about hymns, Palantir, all that. I'm gonna start with just like, what's your average? I don't know, 23? And some change. I'm gonna start with some like warm-up stuff, but then we'll get to the good. Talking about Barstool AI. Let's go. Let's go, man. Let's go. He's a G for that. All right, let's fucking go. He'll be here in a minute. He's got to pop into the Zoom link. He's got welcome my my fellow Amit viewers. Luke, I'm letting him in right now. He's in the waiting room. Stop taking that stuff for you're young and don't need it. I don't know, man. Chart looks pretty good. Chart's telling me to take it. I don't know. But yo, if you're just joining from Twitch, if you're watching on Twitter, YouTube, whatever you want to chat, twitch.tv/threadguy. Let's get it, man. You know what's crazy? Is we bring on a lot of sick guests, and a lot of these guests do not have live stream motion, bro. A lot of them don't have live stream motion, but Amit has that real live stream motion, which is fun. But let's get it, man. If there's anything you want to ask, if there's anything you're curious about, if there's anything you want to know, let me know. Pop it down below in the chat. But I'm excited. I'm going to try not to glaze him too hard, but I am a daily watcher, and we also do cover a lot of the same stuff. Like, I don't know how familiar he is with what I do, but we basically cover everything he covers every single day. Very similar. We go more in depth on some topics. Some of them we cover less. Little less earnings reports, a little more intraday trades. But similar, man. It's similar stuff. I'm excited to see some new people over here, man. Thanks, Malcolm, for the gifted. I'm letting him get set up right now on... All right, he's good. He's ready to go. Chat, y'all ready? Can I get some W's, man? It's been a while since we've done it. Let's go. I'm excited. Shout out to Amit for being here. One more time, if you're on Twitch, YouTube, whatever you want to chat, twitch.tv/threadguy. He's a real one, man. I'm excited. I'm going to get him on right now. Yo, yo, yo.
What's up, man? How are you?
Wake your ass up, man. What's up, Amit? How are you, bro?
I'm good, man. I'm excited to be on the show. I mentioned I was going to be on an hour ago, and everyone was like, "You know threadguy?" I was like, "Well, I guess I do now." So
look, I was telling our chat, you don't know it yet, but we have a lot of crossover, and I told everyone I wasn't going to glaze, but I got to just be completely honest. I'm a daily morning watcher. So I started 3:30 in the afternoon, so my morning tweet dump. I'm on Wake Your Ass Up with I hate to be that guy, but
oh, I love it.
I got the bell, but I'll give you a quick context on us, as you're probably talking to a very similar audience. I run a daily live stream, and we're just US based traders. I would say for the most part, it was super heavily crypto focused. Post 1010, crypto gets, just markets got boring, right? I still love crypto, love Bitcoin, but the market is boring. It's slow. Start talking about a lot of equity, stock stuff. Start talking about a lot of AI stuff. The last, 45, 60 days, all we've been talking about is Iran conflict, the Middle East, and the oil trade. I got the barrel in the back, which you can see.
Is that a real barrel of oil?
There's nothing in it, but there's nothing in it. Maybe one day, but it's getting a little expensive now, the oil, to keep it in the house. But so we cover a lot of similar stuff, and I'm a fan of yours. So welcome, man. I appreciate you coming.
Yeah, man, I'm happy to be on. I know there's some overlap. I think crypto is kind of your bread and butter, right? That's kind of your core community. And obviously crypto's been a little dicey. Stock market's been dicey past couple of months, but there's so many different stocks to talk about that I think it provides content and updates. And there's also narratives that affect the stock market with JPOW and the Fed and the war and all of it, technology, crypto, stocks, it all comes together. So it's a super fun time to be covering it.
Yeah, and one of the things about crypto, we'll talk about it. By the way, I like that you like crypto, at least enough to give it a shout out every day on Robinhood, BTC price. But also we do a ton of narrative trading, right? You know how crypto is, a lack of fundamentals and a lot of stuff. Whereas you do some of it, some momentum, but you're also going really deep into fundamentals of a lot of these companies, earnings reports, filing, things like that. And so we'll go into some of that, but I'll skip a lot of your background. But I was watching an interview you did with the Wolf guys this morning. You sort of gave a lot of your lore, pretty sick come up story. I'm just curious on the early Palantir content that you were making. Was there a specific video or a tweet or a thread or an article you put out that led to your pop? Was there a blow off the top moment where you started? I mean, you have 10K live every morning. It's kind of insane.
Yeah, I think with Palantir, so I made an investment around 25 grand around late November, and I made one video, which was, I've been trying YouTube for a long time, tech, business, just random stuff. You're a kid, you're putting it out there, seeing what happens. You don't know anything about the algorithm or how to really be able to build a community or anything like that. So I put out a video. I've always loved the stock market. COVID, obviously, I graduated college in 2020, so it really got me into just learning about stocks. And the video was called, I bought $25,000 a Palantir. That was the title. I was like, oh, maybe that's a clickable title. Maybe
it's a good title.
Yeah, maybe people are interested in this PLTR thing. And I bought it without even understanding really what I bought because I was young and dumb, but I had somewhat of a thesis, a very immature thesis, but there was a thesis. And I laid out my thesis. And that video did 7,000 views in a day. And I had never had 7,000 people click on something of mine in a day. And so, I tried to analyze, why did people click on this? And I was like, is it a Dogecoin that went from 10 cents to 80 cents and people are just in it for the moment? No, because it was actually down, or it was getting ready to go down at the time. Is it just a meme stock? It's no, Palantir's not. Maybe people think of it as a meme stock early in those days, but there's a real company here that is working with the US DOD. There's something here. So why are people clicking on it? And I think that one of the greatest moments of my life, and I say this with zero level of zero level of hesitancy in my voice, is one of the greatest moments of my life was recognizing that there are a subset of people on the planet that for some reason, maybe a supernatural reason, a reason that I can't even explain, care about this company called Palantir. Whether it's the name, whether it's the CEO with the hair, whether it's the aura of it, the spooky, mysterious vibe, there's something that gets people to care about it. It got me to care, got me to invest in it. And I decided at that moment, I'm going to double down and try to figure out as much as I can about the company. And at that moment, I said, I'm going to use my communication skills for my debate background that we can talk about, and my natural creativity around how to build and structure arguments, which essentially was debate was, you're making an argument. And I'm going to turn those two skills into YouTube videos and analyze this company in every way that I can. I wasn't prepared for a 90% drawdown, but that drawdown led me to make more videos, because now I was like, all right, I'm down half my net worth. At this point, I might as well just learn even more about it. And it led to a community that was formed because all I did was make videos on it. And now we're here today.
It's a sick story. And it obviously was a crazy trade for you. I don't mean to like start the stream this way, but you binked Palantir, you binked Robinhood. What is your worst trade that you've publicly been super excited about?
So I don't know if it was super public, because at the time I didn't have a YouTube brand, but there is a ticker called PPBT, Purple Biotech.
Okay.
I was 21 years old. I thought this company was going to cure every disease possible. And I put my whole net worth into it, which at the time was 25,000. I invested in Palantir 2 years later, kind of the same 25,000, because I lost the original 25,000 because this thing blew up and they had like 5 reverse splits. I was like, what's a reverse split? My 30,000 shares went to 3,000. What just happened? I was like, is that good? Is that bad? It feels kind of bad. So that one I lost some money off. In terms of public stuff, I mean, I lost some money on PayPal back in the summer of 2023. So I had a loss on that. Grab has been kind of the next big play I've been saying I think can do very well. I think that stock should be closer to 750, called it at 450. Right now it's at 390. Hasn't really had the move I expected, but it's also only a year and a half. And I kind of tend to give 2 to 3 years to let these, I know we're so enamored by the bull market, having stocks go up 300% in a day like Allbirds, but sometimes, a thesis like Palantir and Hood takes 2.5 years to play out. But yeah, I would say so. Those are some of my losses.
Do you like? Okay, this is something I always struggle with, is that especially in, like some of the crypto stuff. I'm not like a lot of things I trade. I'm not buying for 2 to 3 years. I'll trade at attention. Like I'm long HIMS right now, right? And it's totally like I'm trading momentum. We'll talk about HIMS a little bit. I take the finasteride, so I have a vested interest in it doing well and being legit.
Had a good day. I
had a good day. Something I always just like struggle with on the content side, or at least think a lot about, is what am I comfortable posting as far as positioning, and what am I not comfortable posting. And so when you bink Palantir, you bink Hood, you have a lot of motion, you have a lot of attention, people are hyped about your next call. How do you sort of navigate what you want to share as far as I'm in this and I'm not, I like this stock, I don't like this stock? Like, how do you split the difference on that?
It's a hell of a question. And I think it's a very, very important, relevant question. It gets to the heart of what we're doing here. So you're right. Palantir Hood worked. Next big call I had was Grab. Grab has not worked yet. And so that makes, there is a psychological component of, you get 2 in a row, you're going for the hat trick. The hat trick's not working. And now you're kind of afraid to call the next one. Like really call it. I bought Oracle at 130, it's at 170. That's great, feels good, but you're not like making a like this, hey, I'm pounding the table on Oracle here type of moment. Because it's a $350 billion company, right? Like it is out there. It's not unknown that Oracle's there, or NVIDIA. I bought NVIDIA at 90, but a lot of people bought NVIDIA at 90 during DeepSeek, right? So you get credit for the names that are unknown that you find. It's very hard to find them. And I tell myself, look, you got 2. It's really hard to get 2 that went from 7 to 150 in 2.5 years. But you got those, and so you need to take those skills and try to find the next one. And if the next one doesn't do that in 2.5 years, you have to recognize that's not normal. I mean, that is normal for a stock to not 20x in 2 years, even if the expectation is that you'll find it. I think a lot of people that find multiple winners in a row, what they're doing here, and this is no shade to them, but nonetheless, it is what's happening, is they're finding very, very small companies. And those small companies that are sub 1 billion market cap, I mean, dude, as you said, there's a lot of people watching every morning. If I say I like this and it's worth 100 million and I have 100,000 shares, and a lot of people who trust me and trust my approach to the market say, oh, if Amit likes it, I would like it. That thing pumps, right? Or it could pump if I were to do that. I've actively chosen not to do that because I just think that's a really shitty way of being a market participant. And first of all, it's illegal, pumping and dumping. Like this, it's just not the brand that I want to build.
It's messy.
So it's very, and in the crypto world, the pump and dumps with the meme coins, we've already seen it. So it's scary for me to do that, which means I spend a lot of time doing due diligence. So to your question, Zeta was another name that I called, I think at $18. I put out my due diligence, did a whole deep dive, bought it, I liked it, went to 25, went down to 14 in the SaaS sell-off. Now it's back to like 18, kind of where I called it at. And so I am trying to balance the level of influence I have with the level of conviction I have on a name. And I don't think I've had a name since Pounder, Hood, or Grab being the one that hasn't really worked out yet, where I'm like, I'm pounding the table. I mean, it got to the point where on Sunday night, I mentioned a software stock that I was interested in. I haven't even really started due diligence. I read a couple articles. And then I'm getting messages today of people saying like, did you buy it yet? Did you buy it yet? I'm in. And I'm like, I didn't even put out a thesis. There's not even a one pager. So the very fact of me saying a name, given there's so many people watching, can influence people getting into it. And I really hate if someone's into it and I'm not even into it, but I just mentioned it because I mentioned a lot of stocks and they take a position. So I take the responsibility very seriously.
I'm the same way about this. We don't have to mention any names, but there's definitely some popular TradFi accounts on Twitter recently that have, you know, some 4-figure, 5-figure percentage P&Ls over the last couple months on some very low cap names. But, you know,
and a lot of respect to them, because a lot of the research these people are doing is very difficult. It's not easy.
100%.
But the level of companies they're choosing, OTC, all this stuff, if there's only a couple thousand people trading it and there's only a couple million shares outstanding, it's gonna go up if people buy it, you know?
Before we get into some individual names, I want to talk about just like general markets right now. And I know you love Hood, no hoodie on, but there was the pattern day traders requirement was just axed, which led, I think, is part of the reason Robinhood has traded, I think $87, $88, traded really well. And you mentioned when you started getting into stocks, it was like right around the 2020 I graduated high school in 2020, so I'm basically the same era. I started paying attention to markets. So you don't have like a ton of history predating 2020, but I'm curious your general thought process on like how much the rise of retail traders and zero-day options, and then we'll talk crypto perps and a little bit as well, has evolved how these markets and individual names move, trade, carry momentum, and just like evolve in general.
It's a whole new world. It is a whole, I mean, so like this is a really interesting topic, and there is a lot of science and art to how this is playing out. So there's always been cults around stocks. The problem is there's never been like tens and tens and tens of millions of people caring about stocks. They care about pop culture, they care about sports, you know, you got many cult sports, but COVID created the foundation for everyone to be like, I have stimulus money and I'm bored. And then you saw GameStop and AMC, and it set the foundation for people to care about the stock market. Tesla, I think, was the first like original cult in terms of retail momentum. I think the next big one, quite frankly, after Tesla really was Palantir. Like to have a stock do what it did as a boring B2B enterprise SaaS company, you don't get that type of multiple. I mean, Elon gets an Elon premium because he's freaking Elon. You don't get that type of multiple on a B2B SaaS AI company unless there's something about you that's interesting. And what's really interesting about Palantir is retail loaded the hell up under 20. And once the company started showing its growth, institutions had to buy in. And then you have S&P inclusion, NASDAQ inclusion. You have all these TradFi things that happen in the stock market that a stock gets included into an index. And all these retail guys are like, I bought this at 6. And now that guy who runs a $10 billion fund is being forced to buy it at 40. Why would I sell? And that's pretty funny that guy has to buy my shares at these levels, or I'm not going to sell him my shares. So he has to buy someone else's shares, which just pumps up the price even more. So it's been absolutely crazy. And I think the democratization of information has really been what catalyzed it. I think I'm a case study of it. I was a 22-year-old kid that has posted 3,000 videos, and I don't want to count how many tweets dedicated to Palantir. Yeah. And a lot of people saw those videos and tweets and they took a chance on it. And thankfully, I bet my reputation on it and it ended up being a right. But a lot of people have done that route over the past couple of years. Rocket Lab, I have friends who called it at 4. SoFi, friends who called it at 5. What's the other big one that has exploded recently? Your Nebius's, people called it at 10, 20. I mean, you're just seeing a lot of retail. ASTS at $2. Now it's at 80. I think retail's a big force.
You think you'll ever be able to repeat the Palantir trade?
In terms of so let me ask you a question. In terms of the actual movement of the stock, or in terms of the community and the sort of journey that it added?
I sort of meant it in terms of the movement, but being able to be like that early to a cultural movement again is whether it happened on accident like people hit these accidentally, stumble into it intentionally, whatever. But it has been like a transform. I mean, it has people, hot girls are rocking the Palantir merch. Like it's become like a cult. You got the sign in the background. It's become like a cultural hot girls from Palantir force, if you will.
I will say, so Palantir was just unbelievable. I didn't expect for Robinhood to do what it did. And so we can talk kind of about the origin stories of that, but that Palantir, I think it's me and a couple other people that really led the cult and led the movement of the content. Robinhood, it was like me and 3 other people. Like there really wasn't, because everyone hated Robinhood for GameStop. So like you really had to look past that to see what was happening here. I will say it is a high that I cannot describe, to be on an island, say that you like a stock, the stock goes up and up and up and up, and people who are buying at levels that are already double the level you bought at, or triple or quadruple, are making money because the stock is still going up, and they're attributing all of that momentum, all of those gains to you. You don't deserve it, but you're the guy on the island who called it when no one was, and everyone wants to give you that praise. I'm looking for that feeling again. So to answer your question, I hope I will be able to find it again one day. I don't know if I can, but it has been one of the greatest feelings of my entire life, and I don't take it for granted, but it's also freaking hard to find that name and be in that movement.
I love the retail trading topic. So like, 1010 happens, it's the crypto 9/11 basically. And I'm sitting here like, all right, what are we going to do now? And I'm like, fuck it. Stocks are trading well. Let's pay attention to some stocks. And so I start posting a lot on Twitter that I'm looking at stocks. We're covering, tickers in the morning or during market close. And a lot of the veteran crypto guys come out and they're basically like, oh, you crypto kids can never understand financials. You can never trade stocks. And I'm sort of thinking to myself, I actually think that we can in some categories, because the thing crypto traders are innately the best at is understanding memetics, understanding narrative, understanding attention. Yep. And how much, Palantir trades at what, 150 PE, something ridiculous. Not to say they don't have these massive government contracts, but they trade this, what's Tesla? What is a lot of these movements is they are just that, right? They're movements. And so there's this article, I glaze this kid all the time, but there's a guy on Twitter, Base16Z, and he wrote this article called Mega Church Time. And in a footnote, he wrote this little excerpt, and it reads, not just American Eagle, which is the Sydney Sweeney trade, which is when I realized I think we could do the stock thing. Not just American Eagle, but all my best trades this year, and I believe underexploited edge in today's mimetic financial markets, is growth investing in some narrative that will become the note of the internet that day.
100%. The market, the mistake I have made this year, because I have made a mistake in terms of my portfolio. The big mistake is not realizing you need to be in the themes that are going to move no matter if Iran launches a nuke or these are themes that are going to move. Memory was one of those themes, and data centers was one of those themes. And I thought I had exposure to it through NVIDIA, which I do, and it's done well, but NVIDIA's 5 trillion. It's hard for it to go to 10 trillion.
It's tough to go to 10.
These stocks that are 60 billion, they can get to 120, it's possible. So that's the mistake I made. And hopefully I can sort of try to see it and I identify more of these names. A lot of them have run already, but if this AI thing is unlimited, then they're probably going to, keep running. So to your point, yeah, like the cool thing about crypto, guys, is you can spot momentum. And if you saw momentum in quantum or nuclear or space or data centers or memory, you were able to play the thematic or AI in general, right? And you were able to like the Mag 7 back in 2023 were deeply undervalued, but ChatGPT changed the world, and you had to see that, oh, Gemini was going to happen, Meta was going to start using this stuff. Playing the theme is how you win, and it's very hard for people to find the theme.
One of my favorite times watching you was during the silver, gold, just parabolic. Everything trades like crypto. Silver trades like a meme coin. Oil trades like a meme coin. And you're beating your head against the wall, and you're like, man, I just don't think oil or silver is like a hedge against anything. Silver's trading like risk, and you're like banging your head against the wall. And do you think this trend also continues where like every commodity, every metal, every whatever has this crypto like blow off the top parabolic momentum? Like it feels like fundamentals or real life use case goes out the window when people are like, we're running silver now. We're doing silver now, and all of a sudden it's like it's the trade of the week. And then does it make a new all-time high? Does it not? That's unclear, but it definitely became the trade of the week of the month.
So I think if you're long commodities like gold and silver, you can own them and not worry about it for the next 20 years, right? Because they will be relevant. But to your point, I got out of the commodities. I made like 10% on a copper trade. And I got out the day that silver had its 30% decline. I was still somewhat up on my options. And I was just like, I'm done with this. And the reason I saw the copper chart and it was following silver. And I was like, wait a second. I thought there was a fundamental thesis, the data centers. I was like, there's some, and I was like, it's just being the altcoin to Bitcoin or Ethereum. And I was like, I'm not in this for an altcoin. I thought there was a thesis here. The thesis is being plagued by the algos that are trading it. So yeah, it is incredible to see the amount of people, because we were starting to get bearish around January, February, and still you had people trading silver and gold like it was a meme stock. So I just think this goes to a deeper question, which I'm sure you've kind of read some of this literature around financial nihilism and the idea that people feel like they can't make it in life because their job doesn't pay enough. The cost of living is going up. Inflation is going up. Men feel like they need to really impress women and they need to make a lot of money. And there's a lot of depression if they're not making enough money because women have so many options. And so it's like, fuck it. I'm going to go gamble on the Knicks tonight. Yeah. I'm going to go buy this meme coin. Trump just said he's launching me. I hope Trump's right. I'm going to bet on MAGA here. Like you were taking more and more risks as a society. And I don't know if it's good or bad, but it is leading to a lot more shit like silver going up or down 30% in a day.
It's very thematic of, I think, the decade post-COVID era. Something we talk about all the time. Yeah. And I believe that one of the ways out is to figure out how to trade and how to make money in these markets. You are, at least in my head, very pointed towards retail traders, right? Like you have a lot of experienced people that watch you, have a lot of like new people that find you, learn how to trade through you, discover what options are, discover what stocks are through you. And like to that point in the nihilism era, do you think new traders can actually have edge in these markets and outperform the S&P?
Do you think new traders can actually have edge in this market and outperform?
Yeah, like if someone new finds AmitIsInvesting on YouTube streams, like do you think it's a good idea for them to be like, I'm gonna learn? He did it with Palantir, you did it with Hood. I think learning how to trade will be a beneficial skill to my future. Maybe not my full-time occupation. I'll still keep my job, but I should be stock picking or trading individual names rather than just buying indexes.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. Yes, someone who discovers finance media online, and not just me. There's so many good accounts that are out there putting out due diligence. They absolutely can change their financial future by seriously taking a look at that due diligence and trying to keep up with the markets and either actively trade or kind of pick stocks. More people don't actively trade. More people pick a stock, and stock picking is a very difficult skill.
Yeah, of course.
Because the S&P is really hard to beat. But you know, a lot of people beat the S&P last year. Yeah. In retail. Doing it consistently is tough because it does require active monitoring of a portfolio. You got to monitor the situation of your portfolio. So to your point, it's difficult, but I think it is possible. I don't think you're like selling a fake dream, like, oh, you can become rich. It's like, no, you can legit buy Rocket Lab at $20 and then it goes to 70 and you can fund your child's tuition, right? However, it does require a level of individual autonomy and agency around believing you have control over your financial future and then actively every day paying attention to see what are the opportunities, which is why I think people join the market open, right? Because it's entertainment to an extent, but it's also a sport of how can I listen to what this guy is talking about, and hopefully he's talking about it in a way that conglomerates a lot of information that I can then digest and then make my own decisions based on that analysis and make more money. And so I think it's possible. I think it's entertaining for people to try. It's better than them watching sports all day, even if it is just a sport of investing, but it is hard to beat the S&P every year.
Trading as a sport is my favorite framing. It's the modern day spectacle. And I think the biggest trade, it's already happened, at least on X, on Twitter. I spend all day on Twitter. The best traders are the biggest celebrities. Those are the people you care the most about. Like, it's just, I mean, look how many people show up to your stream every day. It's like, it is absolutely a spectacle. And we can pivot into some individual names here as sort of like a bridge question on the retail trading. How responsible is Robinhood specifically for this retail boom?
I would say Robinhood is probably 99.3% possible or responsible for it. I mean, legitimately, it is when you've used the product and you get your friends to use the product, and all my family uses the product. It's not easy to get someone to open up a Schwab or Fidelity account and actively enjoy trading. Now, has Robinhood gamified it? Yeah, but that's the point. Like it needs to feel exciting for people to care about financial markets. Financial markets are not that interesting unless you make it interesting. And so I have zero problem with what Robinhood has done. They've obviously gotten a lot of flack for it, but more money in the markets, more liquidity is a good thing, not a bad thing. And I think Robinhood's pretty much the number one reason for that.
It was funny. You see, Robinhood gets flack for confetti and gamifying the experience, and then you look at first of all, you pull up a online casino, which is being pushed in every commercial break, FanDuel, Prize Picks, whatever. And it's like it's gamified gambling everywhere in the world. Robinhood gets shit for it. I know Robinhood has some prior, the GME stuff. It's not even really worth going into all that, but it is an incredible product. What is your the thing that's interesting about Robinhood is it feels like every platform right now is going a similar direction. Everybody wants to be a bank. Everybody wants to offer financial services. Everybody wants to be an exchange, a way for you to trade, store your money, earn yield on your money. Everyone is sort of converging on this similar idea that maybe Robinhood was first to or popularized in the 2020s. But everyone's going in this direction. Every wallet's an exchange. Every exchange is a wallet. Both of them offer yield on keeping your money there. So how does Robinhood win in the 10-year, 20-year deck of thesis from here?
So I think what Robinhood's going to have to do is capture every part of your financial experience, not just trading. The reason the stock got hit so badly over the past couple of weeks is because trading volumes went down. Now, there was a reason for that, which is this war. But the point is, if people aren't trading, they don't make money. And I think Vlad knows that is the liability that they have, which is why they're getting into banking and tokenization, and they're trying to do more stuff with crypto as an infrastructure play versus just a trading play. So yeah, they've got to be able to figure out your credit card, your loan, your mortgage. How do we provide that to you as Robinhood? And then how does that continue to get you to trade as well? And I think they're doing a pretty good job at it. It's just, it takes time. They have a massive TAM. I do think they will be $1 trillion company. I know that's crazy. I really do think the level of innovation that I've spoken to Vlad enough and spoken to the employees enough where I can confidently say these people work 12 to 15 hours a day.
It's gross.
It's gross. I would never want to work there because of how intense the work culture is. And I also, if I work there, I can't talk about the stock anymore. But the level of intensity that Vlad has. I mean, I'll tell you a story. Vlad, I was in his office after their Q1 of last year, doing a little interview with him, and he gave me a gavel as a gift. I gave him a little cowbell. He gave me a gavel. And the point of the gavel was in meetings, he will slam the gavel during a meeting when he's talking to a product manager, an engineer, or another C-suite, if he thinks that people aren't getting their goals right. So if you're responsible for the Robinhood Gold subscriber, I guess you're like the GM of Robinhood Gold and you're responsible for subscribers going up. If they needed to add 100,000 subscribers that quarter and you're in the meeting and you added 95,000, he will slam the gavel and be like, get your shit together. Do better. And so when I heard that story and he gave me the gavel and then TSA took it.
He gave it to you after?
He gave it to me and then TSA took it when I was coming back from California because they thought I was going to kill the pilot with the gavel, this plastic fucking gavel. And I tried to tell the guy, I met the CEO of a special company. He gave it to me. The TSA guy was like, who's the company? I was like, Robinhood. The guy was like, Robinhood? Fuck them. They didn't let me sell my GameStop. And I was like, oh my goodness, bro. I can't believe this has happened. I cannot make that story up. That's what happened. And I lost the gavel. And I had to tell Vlad, and I didn't tell him about the GameStop part. I just told him the TSA. I didn't want to,
Damn, that thing was probably meeting Warren too. Game Warren. Yeah, by the way, I guess it's like common knowledge. You talk about it a lot. I couldn't believe that you weren't sponsored by Robinhood and or Palantir.
So I'm happy you brought this up. I've never been sponsored by a single company ever. I've never taken money from a single company. Palantir, it doesn't even pay for my flights when I go to AIPCon or my hotel. Everything is on my.
You didn't pay for that merch though.
No, I did. That 120. No, I pay for them. I order every hoodie. I or that thing I unboxed. It was $150. I paid for that shit. I've gotten a couple hats for free and stuff like that. But I, like every merch drop, I put in my credit card and I buy that shit off. And I also want to support because Ileano's my guy. But they don't pay me. They've never paid me, and I've kept a very strict line behind my integrity. And I know people perceive it as being paid, but I'm being paid if the stock goes up. And I'm promoting the stock. I'm promoting the company, but the company is doing well enough for me to then talk about the stock. And that's how the thesis plays out. Now, some of these other people out there, and I've heard some stories of the amount of money they've been given or, shares they've been given under the table to pump this. Like, It is really ugly and shady out there. I never want to be associated with it. I've had a C-suite call my personal phone and say, Amit, we are ready to give you a lot of shares. Can you do for us what you did for Palantir? And I was like, no. Like Palantir was this organic journey. I'm not going to manufacture my excitement over your stock when there's nothing to be excited about. You know, so it's a dirty game. And I kind of pride myself on being able to say I've never taken a penny from any company.
That is awesome. Also, it's funny to hear you say like shares. I'm used to like coins under the table, like shares under the table.
Yeah,
it's like funny to hear that. On Robinhood to a trillion, they make more money if more people are trading. They make less money if less people are trading. So to get to $1 trillion, they need substantially more people trading. Where does the next marginal trader come from?
Well, you know, these Trump accounts I think are really important. I think they're setting the foundation for traders going into the next 2 decades, because each kid that's born in America now gets $1,000 tracking the S&P in your account. Robin is going to get a lot of those accounts. That's another big catalyst for growing their AUM. I think they get more traders by more people wanting to be interested into the financial markets. Like, it's just that simple. If you get into finance, you have a couple $1,000, you're new, you care about becoming an entrepreneur, becoming, you know, taking control of your financial destiny, you eventually find Robinhood. There's competitors, but Robinhood is the one that ends up finding your attention. It's like if you try to build a startup, you are going to find tech VC on Twitter, because that's where all the information is. If you want to, you know, get inundated on how to, if you care about crypto, you're going to find Ansem, right? Like you will find him, or you're going to find threadguy. Like, it's that you find these people that care because you're curious. And Robinhood's one of those platforms there. So I think they need to make sure capitalism does not collapse. And they need to make sure that AI does not demolish the incentive that people have sociologically to feel bullish about the idea of progressing inside of a economic mobile society, because then people will find stocks. But if people have that sentiment taken away, they're not going to find stocks, crypto, real estate, any of that stuff.
How much do you loom and doom over that? Late stage capitalism, the game is rigged, you can't actually hit the upper K shape in the economy. Why even trade when everyone is against me? Sort of like nihilistic doom and gloom.
I just, you know, I think I don't spend enough time on it because I work a lot every day. And I think that answer is emblematic of the only way to not worry about, you got to fucking work. That's it. You just got to, right? You do your stream every day for 3 hours. You're there. You're doing it. You're like, and you don't care what anyone thinks. You're just doing it because you know this is what's necessary to grow and build a brand and gain momentum. And I used to stream when there was 10 people there, and I would be as excited as I am with 10,000. Like, you just have to grow. I think there is a lack of accountability, but also a lack of optimism, not because the world is against you, which in many cases it feels like the world is definitely against you, but also because sometimes people just don't have the natural inclination to try. And when I was making YouTube videos and no one was watching, at least I was trying. I've always tried. I've always fucking tried. My mom gave me my creativity. My dad gave me my work ethic. My dad is not creative, but he gave me the work ethic. My mom is really creative.
She doesn't work hard.
She works hard, but she knows nothing about business. Yeah. Like she knows nothing about signing contracts and NDAs and all that, but my dad knows a lot about that. So I got a lot of creative energy from her. I got a lot of, my dad, you know, ran a liquor store for 20 years. He was, you know, basically gone for 15 hours a day. I got that work ethic from him. And then I put it together to say, I want to do something different in my life. I don't want to kind of go corporate. A lot of my friends went to JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, and I just really rejected that mindset. And so I ended up finding YouTube. The other thing that's really important about this is recognizing your mortality. You know, this is something I don't talk about too much, but the idea of death is a very, very big motivator for me. I can't explain why. I've always been fascinated with the concept of we will all be dead one day. It's very morbid to bring up, but that is one thing that really gets me off my ass every morning and says, clock's running out. You got to go for it.
Damn, my 3 hours a day feels so lousy now compared to over.
Well, you're doing something. You're working. You're working. That's what matters.
That was beautiful. I hit you with a 180 pivot, but back to the Robinhood topic. You know, and also on the topic of Robinhood having a ton of competition, is that, you know, crypto's had a tough year, really tough couple years. I think it got really overshadowed with the meme-ification of everything. And instead of talking about DeFi or these like innovative protocols, talk about Farcoin, which I know you're a big advocate. It gets referenced in your stream talking about.
It does indeed. It does indeed.
But I think the golden child of crypto 2024 on has been the perpetual future and the perp and hyperliquid 24/7 perps, which has been a really interesting one. I don't know how familiar you are with it, but I think really over silver boom over the Middle East conflict, right? Which is February 28th. I think it was a Friday night or Saturday, really early Saturday morning. U.S.-Israel strikes Iran. Markets are closed. Oil goes absolutely parabolic. And, like $2 billion of price discovery happened on Hyperliquid, which was pretty wild to see. I think it had sort of been like a little, gimmicky crypto product, the perp, whatever, up until the silver moment, up until this oil moment. I'm curious if you've thought at all, learned at all about Hyperliquid and the idea of like 24/7 on-chain perps.
So I have tried to understand this market over the past couple of months, and it is incredibly fascinating, the idea that you could get exposure to an asset class via these crypto derivative contracts without being able to trade the asset. I think I saw some tweets today of some guy who made a ton of money on Anthropic perps, which to my understanding don't actually hold Anthropic stock, but it's pegged via the derivative contract to Anthropic. I don't know how they're deriving the price, but they're doing it in some way, which allows them to kind of, at the end of the day, a price goes up or down, you're trading it. That's what allows you to make money. And there's liquidity in that market via the innovations of Hyperliquid. So I think it's very exciting. I think it's very important. I think Robinhood with tokenization is trying to attack that perpetual futures market, but they're still custodying the shares one-to-one by actually having an equity stake. They just did Robinhood Ventures, which is like the TradFi version of getting a stake in that stuff. The problem with the crypto perp stuff is like, the reason the 9/11 happened on 10/10 is because of over leverage, right? So, I mean, I have a friend personally that lost a lot of money, like a lot of money.
Yeah, likewise.
And it's very scary when the leverage gets that up there. So I think the innovation is incredible. And probably you're going to get something like that in the stock market with, we already have 24/5 trading where like you're buying a stock at 9 p.m. and like it goes through a middleman that gets you a version of a share of that stock, but it's not really T1 settled yet. So there's versions of that in TradFi, but the leverage is what scares me in perps.
Yeah, the leverage is scary. Also, the pre-market perps, I don't know too much about those, like the pre-IPO market. Eventuals is a company that does it through Hyperliquid, is very interesting. I don't know too much about the pre-market stuff, but it's perps are an interesting vehicle because people want leverage, right? Like what percent of options trading is 0 DTE? It's like really high, right? 60%, 70% or something like this. Yeah. People want leverage. And it gives you a very simple way to go long or short and hold for a, undecided amount of time versus the options contracts, which are very complex. Like I would wonder how many people that trade options actually understand the Greeks and theta and how exactly what the convexity of exactly what they're trading underneath. And so I think that you're right. Everything is going to go that we're 24/5. Everything is probably going to go 24/7 at some point in the near future. It's sick to hear that you're pretty tapped in, at least at a high level, to the Hyperliquid perps.
I think it's cool, bro. Crypto is awesome. In 2023, 2022, I didn't understand why crypto was a thing. And then I spent, I think, 5 months watching every Michael Saylor interview I could just to get orange pulled, just to understand why does Bitcoin matter. And it really converted me to thinking, we are going to inflate ourselves and debase our currency for the next, forget 100 years, thousands of years. I mean, like there's no, if Elon and Doge couldn't fix the problem, there's no way we're going to cut off welfare. Like there has to be a solution to infinite money printing. I hope the solution just is the perception of money still being valuable because of the military and the mighty strength of the US is what keeps us going. But eventually, if it doesn't, you need a counter-cyclical hedge, and that ends up being Bitcoin. The annoying thing is that crypto got wrecked when we printed the most money in the past year. So I'm curious on your take, why didn't crypto end up getting the bid, and why did it go to gold and silver? And do you think the bid actually ends up coming back?
I think crypto has really struggled to evolve itself into an investable asset outside of a couple spots. And I think that altcoins generally have this weird overhang problem of like, what are you buying? Is it equity? Is it a meme coin? Is it something in between? Hyperliquid solved this one by making $1 billion a year and putting all of their revenue back into buying the coin. And so you're not technically buying equity, but you're buying an asset that they have more of than anyone, and that goes up only. I think the rest of crypto outside of BTC has sort of found itself stuck in this middle ground. People kind of want meme coins, but we know what meme coins are. We have the same thing in stocks. Basically, people kind of want alts, But then you run into this fragmentation problem. Is it equity? Is it not? Who owns the assets, the labs, the entity? You sort of get this like weird middle ground with an overlying meta of, I think, nihilism.
Yes.
And so I think people got very frustrated with crypto. The market was basically at, Bitcoin's at 126K, all-time highs right before 1010. Altcoins are in the gutter. And then you get this mass wipeout liquidation across the board. And I think it's actually left crypto in a unique spot, right? Like on the run up, you get all these wannabe Michael Saylors, right? These DATs that are over leveraging with money they don't have, buying the Pico top. And the whole thing is just inflated on air, a lot of the run up. And so you sort of pull forward future buyers to buy right now. And then when things go the other direction, they're not there to sort of plunge protect, and you get this cascading liquidation effect. But I actually think crypto right now stands in an interesting spot. There's been a sentiment wipeout. There's been a price wipeout. And all things considered, BTC has traded decent since February 28th when the war started. Now we are stuck with the Michael Saylor situation. Okay, he owns like 4% of BTC. Now the whole discussion is like, when's he buying and how is it going to end? We're pumping because he's buying. We're not pumping because we hate him. And then like, what is he going to do with it? It's stuck somewhere between. But I think there's been a couple spots. BTC obviously, hyper liquid with perps. And then I think the privacy narrative, Monero, XMR is popular. Zcash is another one that's popular, where privacy is probably obviously going to be increasingly important in the future. And crypto is uniquely positioned to offer a, private by nature asset. And so despite the carnage, crypto has carved out a couple. That's awesome. Bitcoin rocks. People will always trade meme coins. The casino never closes. It's carved out, I think, a real use case. And then obviously tokenization, right? Everyone is like pushing this tokenization narrative really, really, really hard. And so it's definitely carved out and made itself, I think, a real like sustainable player, despite the most brutal wipeout you could have offered.
Do you think morale in the overall industry has like really been wrecked, or is there a catalyst or a rate cutting cycle? What do you think kind of brings it back to life?
I honestly don't think it's been worse. FTX was pretty bad.
Wait, this is the worst it's ever been, is what you're saying?
You would make a pretty good argument, I think. It's very much a narrative follows price thing, right? And so FTX was basically FTX. The difference between FTX, like 2023 collapse into now, is that at least there was a catalyst through FTX. Like the thing people will say is like, no one stopped believing in Bitcoin in 2023. They just ran out of money. Biggest exchange blows up. Everyone goes insolvent. No one can afford to get anything. Mass liquidations. The 2025 one was a little bit unique because there wasn't necessarily this like FTX level catalyst to destroy everything. There was sort of a spiritual capitulation. A lot of, I wasted 5 years of my life. Meme coins suck. Fuck this thing. Because you got to imagine, right? You have 2 years of a bull market, really the back half of 23 and then all of 24. And the asset that is going the craziest are meme coins, scam coins. And so your blow off the top is the president of the free world, basically day one in office, comes in, launches not one, but 2 meme coins, right?
Yeah.
And so you got to understand too, before Trump comes into office, before Gary Gensler is out, the best talent in crypto is leaving the United States of America. Not because crypto's legal or illegal, but because there's gray area. What's legal, what's not. They just, clarity, pun intended, refuse to provide clarity. And so the best talent in the world is like, I don't even know if I can legally do this here. I'm out. Trump comes into office. Gensler's out. Day one, he launches a meme coin. Fuck it, anything goes. And so there definitely was this spiritual anger built up, I think, towards crypto from some of the diehards that it's, the opposite of where you would want to see it go. But in my opinion, a lot of it's gotten wiped out. And then there's a couple narratives to cling to as very interesting. And one other silver lining of Hyperliquid with 24/7 perps is they offer tradable assets on everything. And so a lot of crypto people are now like, okay, I have all this balance on chain. I'm going to trade oil. I'm going to trade silver. I'm going to trade gold. I'm going to trade stocks. I'm going to buy Robinhood. I'm going to buy Tesla. And so I think more than anything, we're not going to see like stocks, crypto, but more so just like modern finance. And these things interweave. They trade similar, people that have crypto can trade stocks. People that have stocks can trade crypto.
Which is really good because the
Yes.
crypto infrastructure gets people into trading other shit, but it's built on crypto, which was the entire point of the
Exactly.
blockchain,
Yeah.
right?
So there's sort of like a convergence, if you will, across all markets, which is very interesting to watch. And I guess a follow up on that is like, speaking of markets, how have you been able to navigate the last 2 months, give or take, post-war? And where does trading this market or covering this market rank amongst other unique time periods where you've been covering?
So comparing this era of trading, I guess.
Yeah, and just like the last 2 months, like what the fuck? You know, what just happened? We're back at all-time highs.
So the difference here with retail, I did a poll yesterday in my chat. It was 33, 33, 33. 33% of people said I bought heavy. 33% of people said I bought, but I didn't buy heavy. 33% of people said I didn't buy. And this was a very difficult 2 months for me to navigate in terms of my audience because it was very political. Because people hate Trump, people love Trump. So you got people saying we got to bomb Iran, and you got other people saying what the fuck are we doing with Iran? So I'm trying to be as apolitical as possible because I don't think people come to me for politics, and I don't want to be the politics guy. But with my money, I also had to kind of vibe back and forth. I mean, there is pressure when I'm like, oh, I'm buying, and you have 1,000 people saying you're a fucking idiot. Why are you buying? Trump is crazy. How can you trust it? And then you have other moments where like I'm a little bearish. I'm selling some stuff. I'm maybe hedging, and people are like, you don't believe in America. This is, the greatest economy. And it's just like, dude, it's kind of crazy trying to actively trade. That's why I'm not an active trader. I'm a content creator who's trying to make some money as well with trading. So what I did is I was in that middle bucket. I bought, but I didn't buy heavy. Now, when Palantir collapsed, that was my main conviction. I bought more, right? I really bought. I tried to buy as much as I could. Rocket Lab I bought, Oracle I bought, but there are still moments where I could have bought more. My retirement account I liquidated, $35,000 I had in cash, not on the bottom, the day after the bottom, March 30, or the day after the March 30th was announced the ceasefire day. So I think it was Wednesday, 2 weeks ago. And so I got some bottoms, but I didn't go like crazy in. And the most important thing about this is that last year, everyone went in March and April because no one freaking believed the Trump tariff. So like I was buying the dip, you were probably buying the everyone in retail was like, the institutions are stupid. They think we're actually going to tariff Zimbabwe by 100%. Like that's not going to happen. And so we were handsomely rewarded after that 30% drawdown instantly. This time, people legit thought this is not only going to be World War III, Trump has ruined the US economy forever. So a lot of people stayed on the sidelines. Again, I was in the middle. I definitely deployed some because some things felt cheap, and that's where conviction comes in. But it wasn't like, oh my goodness, retail is like, there's a structural transition of wealth from the institutions to retail. But given the data over the past couple of days, now retail is coming back. And I hope this is not the top because that would suck. It's just buying into momentum. But if it's buying into momentum and we're going a lot higher, a lot of people can get the bottom, but it's still going to be a really good year for people.
Yeah, it was always you can't taco atoms, right? You can't
Correct.
You can't print oil, which made it very, I don't know, it's insane to me that we're at ATH today. It was like, felt like nothing really. We're at ATH, there's no ceasefire, which is wild. I stopped trading oil because I was driving myself crazy. One of the last topics I want to ask you about is sort of your DD strategy, which I think you have interesting insight in. It's not something I'm the most familiar with, like DDing, the financials of companies. Like, what is your general, I know it's a packed question, but what is your general thought process when you're underwriting a stock or you're looking at what you want to invest in, you're interested in a name? What do you do?
I'm actually thinking of doing the stream, like a 5-hour stream.
You should do
boring
this.
Of me. Yeah, just doing DD. I'm not even going to be like really talking to the chat. I'm literally just going to be in my zone, and then people can kind of observe how I'm doing it. It involves becoming very intimate with a company. So for me, it is getting my hands on as much information as possible I can, and quite frankly, becoming obsessed with it. So I'll reference back to Hood. It was trading at $8, 6 billion market cap. Sorry, 6 billion cash, 2 billion enterprise value. 2 billion was the market cap outside of cash. 8 billion was the overall market cap. So 6 billion was cash. So they had a 2 billion enterprise value. So
got it.
The company's doing $1 billion in revenue and they're trading at a 2 billion enterprise value. It didn't make sense. So that's what got me into it. And then I began the process of who is Vlad? Why does he matter?
Yep.
All of his interviews. Like, why does everyone hate this guy? What actually happened during GameStop? How does Robinhood make money? I felt like I knew their SEC filings better than the CFO. and I'm being hyperbolic, but like I legit, because I put a lot of money in that. I want this to work. And there were options. They weren't even stocks. So I was like, they better hit $25. And when it's at $8, to go to 8 from 25 is really scary. Like, will it actually happen? But it involves becoming incredibly, diligent about what's happening. So I would break it up into 3 pillars. Number 1, what's the TAM? I really spend a lot of time on how big can this company become. Number 2, is the company profitable, and or do they have a path to profitability, particularly around operating margins? Because I think if you can increase margins, you can increase free cash flow, you increase net income. Net income is where you get your multiple as a high growth tech stock, and those are the ones that I tend to like. And so you really kind of see where is that path going into. Grab doesn't have good margins, but I see that margin profile getting there, which is why I'm like, okay, I'm early, but I'm going to be right, hopefully. And that sums up sort of the financial element of it. Grab also has $7 billion in cash, trades at 14 billion market cap. Like, it's kind of similar to Hood from that perspective. And then I look at the management team, and I spend a lot of freaking time trying to understand if I am making a big bet, not just a trade, not just like, oh, Oracle's cheap, I'm buying it here. Am I going to trust Vlad or Alex Karp with a lot of my money? Because ultimately they're responsible to figure it out. And so I spend time on that.
It's obviously paid off. Yeah, I love the strategy as well. Like, you have to really take a different mindset if you're like, one of the things I had to sort of educate myself on is, what is my time horizon on this trade, right? And so it's like, am I in this because momentum is hot and I want to be in for a week? Am I trading the chart or am I trading the company, right? Or am I trading the ticker or trading the coin, whatever it is? And like the hyper liquid trade, it's like, okay, cool. I think perps can be worth X% of all, trading volume. Cool. You're in this thing for the long haul. Or I think, Hims just had a sick announcement from RFK and whatever's happening there. I'm in this for the next like 48 hours. It's a completely different process. I think you covered it very well. What about your portfolio? And maybe more niche in your portfolio, like your current strategy. Like, how often when you're buying a ticker are you doing that versus, oh, Oracle looks cheap, I'm going to just like take a stab at, not to say you did this with Oracle, but I know you mentioned it. I'm going to take a stab at Oracle because like the chart looks good right here.
Yeah, so I've been trying to get better at TA because I do think it's a vital tool to being able to trade these assets. I have cornerstones of my portfolio, which are like the things you never sell, or the things that like should be the basis of like multi-generational levels of wealth, because you got them early and you're holding them there and you believe in them, and maybe you saw calls against them, maybe you hedge a little bit here and there. But like with Robinhood, I had a massive Robinhood position, but I hedged. I sold covered calls, which is a strategy of generating a lot of premium before the stock ends up getting to a level. Robinhood was 120. I sold covered calls a year out for 100, so they were in the money. Robinhood went down to 60. I was able to close those covered calls without really feeling a lot of pain, versus if I didn't have those, because then it would have decimated me. And that was just the responsible thing to do, and it ended up working out. But Palantir, Hood, and NVIDIA, I would say, are kind of like the cornerstone of the portfolio. And then recently, over the past year, Amazon has entered into the portfolio. Meta has entered into the portfolio. Zeta has entered in. Oracle, which is a trade now, I'm kind of thinking it should be an investment, is there. Nebius is in there. Amcor is in there. Grab is in there. I've got some of these names where I'm just like, all right, I'm holding them. If they're not doing anything, I might sell some calls, try to generate some premium off them. But the goal is for these names to compound. And what I really want to do is start to find my next Hood, my next Palantir. But it requires a lot of due diligence on finding undervalued and underdiscovered gems. The problem is in a bear market, which we didn't have a bear market, but things were pretty bad. Why do I need to go find the next Palantir when NVIDIA's at 160, trying to get 18 times when Microsoft's at 350? So I've doubled down on doing due diligence on the companies that we all pay attention to every day because they're cheap, and paying attention to the macro versus trying to find that hidden gem that's out there right now.
Your NVIDIA trade was sick, by the way. Also, I know you added more like relatively recently, but I heard you talk about the DeepSeek trade.
Yeah. Well, so I bought for the first time at 139, and 2 weeks later is when, I think it was 2 days later, quite frankly, the DeepSeek thing happened. And that's when I had to ask myself, okay, I don't know what I just bought. I really was new to NVIDIA, but I was like 90, double down. And then this year, I thought I was going to stop buying NVIDIA. But then the earnings we just got, where you would think the stock should be almost $300, and they take it down to 170. I was like, okay, the street's just wrong. The street's just being emotional here. They're wrong. And so, yeah, it's been a good trade.
I was streaming the earnings that day. Was sick.
Really?
Yeah, it was sick. The last thing I want to ask you topically is, where does this finance media thing go? Like, I mean, bro, you have motion, right? You have 10,000 people watch you live. I wonder how many people at a normal time on CNBC Business are watching, and then the quality of those people compared to the quality of who's watching yours. I don't have any math in front of me, but it's extremely competitive. If not, I would heavily lean on your poll, your motion. Where does this go? How does this evolve? Where do you see it like playing out as a industry or a niche? And then like for you specifically.
Okay, so high level, and then I'll get to me specifically. Industry-wide, I think it's going to keep growing. I think the TAM will accelerate for more and more people that care about this type of content. I'm seeing it in my numbers. I'm seeing it in the general zeitgeist of people that care about the stock market. Even during a bear market, people, or the kind of pseudo bear market we had, people are tuning into the stream because they care about what's happening. And people want a community. The meetups that I've been doing these meetups across the country, and we get 200-300 people. We come together, we just talk stocks. And it's something where I realize people desperately are trying to find other people that care about investing as a niche. And it's very hard to do that. And so they're using my stream and my community and my content as kind of like that go-to hub to connect with people. In terms of the actual following from a media perspective, I think the reason I've grown is because I've stayed very humble and very grateful to the audience. I mean, every day I thank people for showing up. I never really try to get stuff out of people because I'm just so freaking grateful that someone's spending their time being with me. And, I've had people that send me videos of their kids that are ringing a bell and they're like saying, oh, that's the AMIT guy. It's like that. It's so unbelievably gratifying to know that people are coming and they're enjoying being there, not because they're paying like $50 a month for my exclusive picks. And that to me, I'm a creator before I am an entrepreneur. I genuinely love creating. I think that's the reason it's working, because I love doing this every day. I love taking a chance on that cringe joke. I love using my debate skills to communicate this obscure idea about the equity markets that I can distill and make interesting. Like, I love it so much. I always wanted to be a musician and a performer. That didn't work out because I don't have the talent to sing or dance. So I think that dream is being manifested in this stock market personality. And because I love the markets, that passion matches with the communication skills, and then it, is able to manifest here. So I think for me, I'm going to keep doing it, and I want to see how big it can get, and where the industry ultimately starts to go over the long term as more people care about the markets and more people want a person who's actually grateful for their time and attention. Which I just think so many times creators aren't grateful for the fact that you could be watching Netflix, you're watching me, which means the world. In terms of my goals specifically in the future, and I haven't even said this on my channel yet, I'm working on something. And it's actually a pretty big freaking deal. I have not told anyone. I've not even told my mom or dad. I'm not going to say it here because I really don't believe in saying before you do. And it needs to become official. But for the past round about a year, I've been working on something really important, and I am very excited. You're not the first person to ask. Amit, you've been doing media for 5 years. You have all these people. What is the point of it? I mean, everyone I meet, they want so why? And I'm like, it's built up to something. The not taking sponsors, the chugging it out myself, everything. It's built up to something. I'm very confident about the new thing that eventually will be launched, and hopefully it'll succeed. But time will tell. And I've been kind of keeping the virginity of my brand in terms of it not being hurt by like a Kalshi logo in the bottom of my screen, right? They've offered a lot of money. I don't want to be I just want to be me. And one day when I do release the big thing that I'm working on, hopefully it will be accepted by people, and hopefully it'll make a lot of money too.
Damn, good luck. I'm excited. We made the right person famous. As a personal sign off, this is the last question. I'll let you go. Top of the hour, basically 2 minutes over. I gotta ask you for personal advice. We similar lane. You've been streaming for longer than I have, but you've made an incredible name for yourself. I love the show, the community, the way you've curated it, the way you approach it. Very professional. I try to do the same thing, right? Very, very intentional. I think it's a better word than professional. Intentional.
Yeah.
Personal advice. Like, how do you turn it from, I think there's 300, 400 people watching into like 10,000 every day the way that you do it? How do you also maintain it 5 years? Very underrated aspect is you do it twice a day, every single day. I stream once a day for 3 hours. I know how the grind is, especially when markets are slow on slow days. Like, personal advice, or it could be a little more broad stroke for however familiar you are with me, but what do you think?
I love that you have Polymarket in the back. So fuck call sheet. We're good with
We love Polymarket, man. We love Polymarket. Shout out Shane Copeland, man.
Well, the important thing about this is that and it's very important for people to understand. It is not sustainable, and this goes into your question, to be a content creator full time unless you have some support. And there is nothing wrong with having a brand or a sponsor or something. You know, there's no shade to Kalshi or Public or all these companies that sponsor people. Like CNBC is freaking making billions of dollars from JP Morgan and J&J and selling you crazy cancer drugs in the middle of their business talk, right? So all of media is subsidized by advertising. That's inevitable. But if you don't want to go that route, then the question is just how do you survive on your own? And it's not easy, right? So it's something that all of us have to be able to get used to and be able to continue to grow. In terms of advice to you, I would say just keep doing what you're doing, because the more and more you grow, first of all, the more your check size is going to get bigger from the sponsors, right? The more attention and reach you have, and the ability for you to have those viral moments and actually be able to tap into the zeitgeist of crypto, the more you're going to win. So, I mean, like, did you see the TBPN acquisition by OpenAI?
Of course, bro. Of course.
You know, you get more live viewers than TBPN. Like, they don't get 70,000 live viewers. That was misreported. They get 70,000 impressions on their clips. X does not.
Yeah.
X live viewers aren't real. When you have a live viewer, it's an impression that X turns into a live. It is fake. I've done it. I don't stream on X because I don't like seeing bots, and like it's all bots. So OpenAI obviously didn't buy them for their metrics. They bought them for essentially controlling the AI narrative, in my opinion. And those guys are awesome, but like, you know, OpenAI bought them for a particular reason. But for independent streamers like us that are growing and have a real community that's built, the only thing we can do to keep growing is nurture that community and make sure that community continues to grow. So to TBPN's point, they've made their clips go viral. The clips essentially are the product. I think for you, which you've already been doing this, right? The clips, like getting into that zeitgeist and getting those clips to hit more and more people by having good moments on the stream, by just being yourself, you know, that's super, super important. And I think on the next bull run for crypto, your ability to potentially find the whiffs of the world. You guys didn't think I knew about that one, right? I have a friend who turned like 2,000 into $1 million. I'm not even kidding. I couldn't believe it when he showed me. He didn't sell it $1 million. He got too greedy. But yeah, like your ability to do that, and my ability. If I don't find the next stock that's undercovered, it's hard for me to grow. Like you grow by getting people interested in a new asset, and hopefully that asset does well. It's hard. It's a fucking hard thing, which is why you need the sponsors, you need the brands to be able to subsidize you in the process of doing all that research and being entertaining and getting there. But that would be my advice, to try to keep working hard. And, you know, I'm taking the same advice.
AMIT, man, I'm so happy you came on, because I think that, I don't know, there's a lot of the narratives, the things you talk about, things you're excited about, the crossover, retail trading, anyone can trade, is just very tight. You're the man, dude. I don't know how you do it twice a day every day, but I'm a huge fan. I think you're crushing it. And anything else you want to say before you leave?
No, I think it's super cool. Your community is awesome. I see everyone in the chat. It's crazy, right? We're interacting with a chat.
It's the
like
best.
These
I love it. I fucking love it, dude.
Anonymous faces that you just like, oh, Shem Pasta. I know that's one of my OGs. He's right here. Like his name is. He was at one of the meetup. I saw him. It's like, it's a cool dude. Like, it is such a special thing that you're doing. I don't take it for granted. I don't think you take it for granted. And, you know, hopefully we can just keep growing together.
Can't wait for part 2, man. You're the GOAT. Palantir all-time high, part 2.
Let's do it. Thank you, man.
Right,
Appreciate it.
Have a good one. Much love. Peace.
Later.
Hey, we made the right person famous, man. Shout out to Amit. We made the right person famous. Dude, I'm just gonna say, you talk to someone like that, and I really do believe what we talk about on retail traders, what we're doing, narratives that we're covering, the way that we're trading. There was just edge. You cannot tell me that you find Palantir at $8, $9, $10, whatever it is, ride it to, what is it trading? I don't know, 140, 130, it was like 160 not that long ago, to something at the top. You cannot convince me that you could pull Robinhood at $20 off the bottom and absolutely print on it. And every other, you talk about Rocket Lab at 20. It's just, I don't know, you watch people like that. I'm like, bro, I watch his stream. I read the messages and the chatters, people talking about what I'm in, what I'm holding, what they're holding, that are printing, that are cooking. Like, stock picking, coin picking is not for everyone, but people are doing it. And I really do believe his take, by the way, that everybody will trade. Bro, everybody is going to trade. Like, it is the most obvious. If you could long one trend over the next 10 years, yeah, maybe you long the gambling thing, stake.com, but fuck that. Fuck that. Okay, fuck that. I am absolutely longing number of retail traders. Buying stocks, buying coins, trading commodities. Fuck the casino thing, like the stake.com. I'm over that. There's one trend, like a meta secular trend. It was that everybody will trade retail wise, and these people will be good. These people will be good. I'm telling you, my biggest learning from trading oil and making money on oil over the last 2 months is that the best coverage on oil and commodities, the best coverage of the Middle East war was not Breaking Points. It was not Fox. It was not CNBC. It was fucking PP Poo Poo and Crude Oil 231, anonymous PFPs on Twitter that both ran up 8 figures individually on their own accord. They respond to your tweets. They're active. They're posting their own analysis. They're covering it. So look, if you just pulled up from Amit, you're here for him, and you're interested in the same themes he talks about, things that we cover. If you fuck with me even just a little bit, think I'm pretty, whatever. I have a Telegram. It's the best way to follow me. I type in it all the time. I'm doing it. Yeah, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Join the Telegram if you want. I'm farming. Pull it up if you want. It's free. I don't ask for shit. I don't want your money, whatever, but I type in here all day, and it's where I'm the most active. Now, another thing that happened while we were streaming is reiterating that really quick is retail traders that are good. Okay, I'm telling you, I watched the oil boom, bro. We watched it. We followed it every single day. I could not get any quality coverage from anyone anywhere. The best coverage was Citrini Analyst number 3. Citrini Analyst number 3. Crude Oil 231. And PP Poo Poo, brother. Anonymous Twitter crypto PFPs. Anonymous Twitter crypto PFPs. And so while we were streaming, I'm not gonna lie, I was watching a chart. I was watching a chart while we were trading, I'm not gonna lie. Or while we were streaming, I'm not gonna lie. I was watching a chart. What was I watching? I was watching hymns. Look at this thing. I was watching a chart, I'm not gonna lie. We did buy. Hey, by the way, if you're an Amit viewer, what do you think of the stream? How did I do? If you're an Amit viewer, look at this thing go. Fucking candling, man. Hymns. Ass, mid, thanks. Actually insane. Shem, you're the GOAT. Very good. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. We do this every day. I'm live every day, 3:30 p.m. You were great. You got a new viewer. Hell, hey, I'm live every day, 3:30 p.m. EST. Now look, I know I get labeled a crypto stream, but these are the topics of the day if you're curious. The broker announcement, everything trades like crypto. Stock market ATH, Allbirds, hymns, Live Nation, which I didn't even cover, war updates, Snapchat, crypto, and then bad day for kick streamers. It's awesome. But all right, this thing is trading insane. It's at 27.5 right now, and I think that there was a Serenity bull post, which is crazy because Serenity here. Is this what moved it? Is this what moved it? There's no. Wow, it is, bro. The last candle I think was fucking Serenity, bro. Let's see. 15 minutes. Yeah. This candle right here, 26.7 to like 27.5 is off this post. Insane. That is crazy. What's the hymns market cap? $5.4B. That's nuts. That's real motion. Did you hold any perp positions? I just hold hymns on perps, but like small. I just am trading the mega church. The announcement is the most bullish catalyst for hymns revenue reacceleration to date. This is a mid. Plus 30% of float sold short. New NVO partnership lawsuit dropped. New global acquisitions. Recovering macro climate. The share price is still $25 down from $70 last year. Short sellers are likely in trouble. It's a pretty good bull post. Hims can capture market share at 70 to 80% gross margins, typical of their compounded products for the holy grail of the gray market TAM for peptides. It's a good one-liner, though, I cannot lie. E.g. healing, hair and skin with GHK, weight loss. Now they're probably the world's largest independent DTC distribution network to date from the new acquisitions. So just running a peptide protocol subscription between 150 and 300 for 200K subscribers is 360 million high margin ARR. As just one example, they now have a worldwide net of customers. They burned through CapEx last year to acquire peptide manufacturing facilities too. So now it's turned into a massive cash cow business. I said Hims would need fundamental changes in order to force shorts to cover. And this is probably that signal seen with market data. And Hims is turning into a fundamentally sound company after regulatory de-risking. My favorite part about this, all the way, is all the crypto guys are clowning her. Target, him, her. Target, basic Z, so true. Let's see. What about this? SIVE listing from Reuters. Yeah. I mean, this account has crazy motion. I cannot lie. Regardless of what you think, I had to unfollow and mute because I was just getting really frustrated with the post. I was just getting like FOMO for no reason because I felt like they were just shilling low caps. It was a little bit annoying. I'm just sharing my journey and thoughts. People give me too much credit. Everyone takes their own trades. That's for me. I finished the day up 1,337.81% year to date. Microsoft, Meta, and Reddit. Beginning the recoveries helped a little bit. This is exactly why I believe if your ideas were genuinely good enough, you can make all your money going long on them in the markets. Instead of paywalling them for $2,000 plus a year and then getting salty off others helping retail for free. Now, to be fair, it's subscription posts. But what are some names AMIT is interested in right now? To my knowledge, NVIDIA, which we know. Hood, which obviously we know. Zeta, he talks about. What is the Grab? Yeah, Grab. Here's Zeta. He loves Grab. I think his head is actually like 4 or 5 on this. Something like that. And then he loves Palantir, which we like Palantir too. I love Palantir. I think Palantir's fresh. We traded this a little bit on this. I traded it like around the war a little bit. He likes Nebius too. I think I hear him say it a lot. We traded that. Nebius. Whoa. Yeah, this chart's gross. I don't even really like know what Grab is. I just know it from him talking about it, but I've never really I've never used it. Essential services earning opportunities. We're an all-in-one platform. I heard him talking. It's like Uber in Asia, right? It's really popular in Asia. Yeah. It's like the Uber of Asia. Doesn't Uber own a huge stake of Grab? Grab is a Southeast Asia Uber, pretty much. Yeah, they own 13%. Ball nowhere. That's insane. 13 to 15%. That's fucking nuts. Movie. All right. I'm running the stream. Chat, I really believe it that we could crush these markets. I felt it the entire way. Market's a little bit weird right now. We just had an all-time high. SPX 7K, I think SPY for 700. It's crazy what's happened over the last couple of months, but I'm gonna be honest, like from going from having basically zero context to conflict in the Middle East to where we are now, pretty successfully in my opinion. Traded oil, stayed slow, stayed cautious, and kind of like stayed in cash. Now there's some interesting trades on the table. It feels like every day there's a mega church type of trade. We had HIMS today. There was the Snap trade. Live Nation one's crazy. The Allbirds thing was crazy. There's feeling like there's a lot of opportunities, especially for the way that we like to trade. A lot of the momentum, a lot of the narrative, a lot of the mega church type of core SanDisk. Feels like there's a lot of momentum and then or opportunity. And then when you talk to somebody like AMIT, who is very similar, maybe not in trading style, but in coverage, in learnings, and things that he likes to talk about and things that he likes to cover, you can't help but feel fired up by it. So shout out to AMIT. Shout out to all the AMIT viewers, by the way. I think we're gonna if you stay, I think we're gonna have some fun together. I'm be honest. We're live every single day. We've gotten a lot better, and we're fucking grinding. So I appreciate you all. I love you all. I dropped my Telegram. I'll do it one more time. Fuck it. I'm doing it, guys. Fuck it. I'm fucking doing it. I deserved an opportunity to do this. I'm doing it. Be careful, by the way. If you, it's a little schizo. Be careful. Okay, please be careful in there. Don't have too high expectations. It gets a little bit nuts. But I appreciate you guys for pulling up. I love you. Thanks for being here. And I will catch you when I catch you. I'll see you when I see you. Have a great rest of your day. Love you, motherfuckers. Peace. Shout out to AMIT.